And with equal opportunities representing your country, let's go into something that's very special for the SSL Gold Cup. Let's go to national anthems, and let's start with the national anthem of Team Guatemala. And watching all this, and I can say, Diego, you really looks like, wow. I can almost see when we were here in studio how you felt this one. Also, if it was not even your team, we have Team Guatemala. I had a good talk with the one out there about, hey, what does it feel to sail for your country and everything? But most of all, how does it feel to sail on a lake? And surprisingly, he said, hey, Thomas, we are so used of sailing on lakes in Guatemala. So for us, this is good. So are they, Diego, according to you, you're the expert today, are Team Guatemala the favorites to take this one and go all the way to Bahrain?
I don't know if I wouldn't call them the favorites. I think, the four teams are, as we saw yesterday, all of the teams were at the top at certain points. So I think we can expect anything from this race. I wouldn't call them the favorites, but you never know. We'll see.
We never know. We will see. And with that said, one of the teams that surprised quite some for us here, they're really fighting for it, but also doing a really great sailing. It is Team Oman. It's so amazing to see Team Oman in this case here. Their team captain, and that's normally what we're not seeing. He's the trimmer, but you can almost see he was standing there with number 10 on the shirt, how big he is. how important is it to be big and strong on the trimmer position?
Yeah, he's the motor or the heart of the boat. So it's super important to be big and just to have the power to grind as much as you can.
Yeah, but one thing I love about this concept, the SSL Gold Cup, is the team are assembled during an order. So one of the things this year, there's a young guy on the team, and he has actually been winning 8 medals in the GCC, and that's everything in Optimist, Laser, and everything. That is Al-Wahabi, and he's the youngest guy on the team, and there's also room for him on a team like this. So how does it feel to have mixed teams this way in the SSL Gold Cup for you?
So I would almost say it's similar with racing. That so the Optimist is kind of the cards. So if you are really good at Optimist or at the dinghies, you're gonna be good at any boat. It's the same concept, just bigger. So I will almost say that he's gonna be being an input in the tactics because he has an eye for it.
He has an eye for it, and with saying having an eye for it, please welcome Diego's own team, Team Mexico. I really see, and just saw that picture when we came back here, how Diego was smiling. So how does it feel to have your national anthem representing your country here at a World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, when we were up there, it's the trip is long and but it's everything it's worth when you're up there just singing and just you feel just basically super proud of representing your country, right?
Yeah, and I had a good talk with your captain, Gentry, and he said, I actually have one question for him, saying, hey, how hard is it for you guys to sail on lakes? Because Mexico, a lot of sea around it. And then he looked at me and said, hey, Thomas, you don't know about Mexico? Our biggest sailing adventure is 2,000 meters up in the mountain on a big lake. So you guys are actually lake sailors.
Yeah. I was actually born in that town with that lake. So because it's really close to Mexico City, there's a big part of the Mexican sailing culture based on there. So yeah, we're really used to sailing lakes also. From now and then we go up, of course, to the sea. But yeah, our main venue is a lake.
And with that said, let's go to a team that don't have many lakes they're sailing on, but they are the underdogs here, and they're surprising us quite well. Please welcome Team Cuba. And here we have quite a mixed team. They have some very experienced guys on the team, and then they're trying to bring in the youth also. But Cuba is a little bit different than rest of the country. This is why we're calling them the Underdogs. They don't have always the same possibilities as you guys to sail. So when I talked with the captain, he said, wow, I'm so proud of being here. Having this big opportunity, SSL is opening up the world, so we would do everything we can to see if we can go all the way to the finals of Bahrain. So while talking about all that, how is it to sail in your region?
In my region, you mean in Mexico?
The Middle Americans and everything there.
As I was telling you, where I'm from, we mainly have small boats, but we also have seas, and there we have big boats. So we have a combination of both, and I can see why the Cuban captain was telling you that. And yeah, to be honest, I'm super proud of seeing them up there. I also have close ties with Cuba, so I don't know, probably from my 5 main coaches during my life, 3 of them were actually Cuban, so I really feel close to them, and I'm really proud of them. They are really doing a good job out there, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a hell of a good race today.
It's going to be a fight, and with that said, let's go to the water. See there's coming up a flag. You know something about these flags? So what are they telling here? This is the jury boat. What are they telling us at the moment?
Yeah, so right now we have the postponement flag. This means we don't probably have the best conditions to sail. So they are waiting for the wind.
They're waiting for the wind, but still we can see there is wind out there. So the wind is actually coming more and more. And when they sailed out to the waters, there was coming wind out there. But don't worry, we are here to explain you a little bit more about sailing and how it's going to be. So let's talk about how they're going to race today. This is the race course. This is what we call an LA2. It's a classic format. You go from the starting line, racing zigzag upwind to what we call a top mark, then an offset mark. That's the second up there. Racing downwind, then you hit a gate mark. There you need to go in between the marks and then race up again, upwind to the top mark, offset mark, and then racing towards the finish line. And if you didn't get it, then we are taking it one more time here. You will see here it's upwind, zigzag, and we call this tacking when we're going to talk today. So how important is the upwind leg for the boats in these light wind conditions today?
So yeah, the upwind is gonna be super important, just because it's the first leg and it's the positions you're gonna make or you're gonna be at the top mark, and being in the first places at the top mark, it's super important. So yeah, upwind is gonna be a big part of this race.
And we are not going to be all alone with us here today. Please welcome on water reporter Rekele.
Hello, Thomas. Hello, Diego. Hello, everybody. Oh, sorry, I'm wearing my sunglasses because the sun is actually starting to appear among the clouds. So I'm in a very privileged position today. I'm where the action is going to take place. And actually, we've seen some already because the very brisky air that was here this morning is kind of leaving us, and some warmth is coming up. And so we see the wind filling in from the north. And actually, the 4 SSL 47 boats were coming downwind, and they had full spinnakers, Jennaker, sorry. So it looked perfect. It looked perfect. So I don't think we're going to be delayed much longer.
Okay,
Rekele, I'm very optimistic.
Rekele, one small question, because you're our eyes on water, and you're going to help us look for the wind shift out there. What can you see? Is there dark patterns out there, or is it like a minefield where there's some mirrors and then some wind movement, or what's happening out there?
More like a minefield, like you say, Thomas. So we see some spots of crispy water, but some other with very oily and glassy water. So we're right here with Team Oman. I don't think you can see them, but they're here, they're cruising. So like I said, I'm in a very privileged position, and we're trying I will try to take you here with us. See, they're right here beside us, getting into the zone, getting focused, and trying to, getting ready for racing, because they had a good day yesterday, but still that penalty left them in a bad position. But I'm sure you've been through that already.
Yeah.
So what I can say is that Lake Neuchâtel is a beautiful lake in Switzerland, one of the many. It goes from north to south, so this is why it's so windy and the conditions are so good.
Yeah.
And we have on the west coast where the SSL headquarters is, it's between Neuchâtel and Chanton-Vaud. A bit of geographic information. And the east side is Chanton-Fribourg and Bern. So you know there are more than about 40 chantons in Switzerland, so it's all region like that. But Lake Neuchâtel is really one of the favorable ones for sailing because of its position north to south, so the thermal breeze fills in pretty much every day. And in this qualifying series, in the SSL Gold Cup qualifying series, we've seen very consistent racing. We've raced almost every day, I think, and so it's standing up to its name, Lake Neuchâtel, to its reputation.
Yeah, fantastic. We're coming back to you later, Raquel, underwater. So please continue, look what's happening underwater. And with that said, see here, the teams are so relaxed and everything. So, Diego, what to do? What are you guys actually doing out there when we are in a situation like we saw with the teams here, where they are so relaxed?
No, so actually this is quite an important. I know they seem like they are really relaxed, but this is super important before the race. So you do many things before the race. One of the most important things is keep the whole crew hydrated. Then the tactician need to be really aware of their surroundings, or where is the wind coming from, and you also want to be pinning. We call it pinning the starting line. And pinning the starting line, Thomas, is basically using a GPS to know to draw an imaginary line and to know exactly where to put your boat at the start.
Fantastic to hear. And so they're not just relaxing, they're not just on vacation. And one of the ways these teams are chosen, and especially the captains are chosen, is how they're ranking on the SSL ranking list. So here's a small explanation of the most important part, the SSL global ranking. SSL Global Ranking. We all know the ATP and the FIFA World Ranking. It's the way to show who is the best athlete in tennis or the best team in football. With the huge diversity of boat classes in sailing, a variety of roles like helm, grinder, tactician, and other crew members, it's hard to define who is the best performing sailors in the world. The SSL Global Ranking most important mission is to offer the first transversal and global ranking for inshore sailors in compliance to all nations and international class ranking established by the classes and federations. But how does it work? The SSL Global Ranking takes the 6th best score of each athlete in the last 156 weeks into consideration. All athletes who has participated in a minimum of one race will have their performance registered of a minimum 1 ranking point. We are working hard to list every sailor in big or small on our website. The SSL Global Ranking is updated weekly and published every Tuesday at starsailors.com/ranking. Go check it out and remember to claim your account if you find yourself your name is already on the list. Please fill out your information and update with a beautiful picture of yourself. Who knows, maybe you're already in the list. SSL, by sailors, for sailors. And with the SSL ranking, we're going on the water. It is the Gold Cup. It is the SSL Gold Cup. And here we can see the whole team is talking together out here. And you talked, hey, it's actually a very important phase because they're looking into it. But there are different positions on this boat. And in the start, you introduce yourself as a floater. So again, to all the new viewers just coming in, what is a floater? Because there are some very big positions on this boat, Diego.
Yeah. Before I answer that one, Thomas, you can actually see right here, Eric Brockman. He's the only one seeing outside the boat. He's the tactician, so he's probably looking for some patterns already in the lake. And answering to your question, floater, we go around the boat just fixing things. Just making small adjustments around the boat, because because of my weight, I'm quite lightweight, so that is a really good asset for the team, because I can move around the boat without moving it or just messing around.
Yeah, and with all that said, we actually have some descriptions from some of the other sailors. We are going to have a battle of the pit, so maybe we can go in and hear what the pit is doing.
I'm the pitman aboard a Norwegian SSL crew. What I do is I work together with the bowman to make sure all the sails come up and down smoothly, and I also trim the runners on the upwinds.
The tactician, the skipper, all those guys tell us where they're going, and we've got to make it happen. And without us, that doesn't happen. So you could say we're the most important part of the boat, especially me and the bowman. We make things happen, and the tacticians just wish it.
It's a bit of a piano play with all the jammers and halyards and runners and tack lines and stuff, but I think you gotta try to keep a cool head when you get into tight situations. I have the runners, one on each side, and I gotta switch which runner we use during tacks and jibes. All the halyards, the spinnaker halyard, the jib halyard, the main halyard, and also the tack line and the pole outs.
Runners on this boat come out to the pit, so the pit actually has something to do upwind in the boat, which is quite entertaining. Done a bit of pit in my time before, and sometimes we just sit on the side, so it's good to have something to do.
Quite interesting to hear about the pit, Diego, because we're going to see a battle in the pit. Pit, if you actually go into other sports or in old days, they were fighting in the pit. That's where the battle is. That's where the gladiators are fighting. And they almost say it a little bit here. But today, Diego, there's no wind out there. It's very light wind. But how important is the pit then in the light wind?
No, the pits will be crucial today. They are always crucial, but yeah, they will be crucial. I'll say from Mexico, I think we have a good combination, because he sails in lakes, he sails small boats, but he's also in the ocean race. So I'm hoping and I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, so the pit is actually setting things up, and we heard in the first video here of the pit that they are really working together with the bow. So what's happening in the bow?
Bowman, I control getting the sails up and down up the front, making sure they come in nice and clean, and the boys get around the mark without trawling.
My position on the boat is bowman. I'm in close communication with the pitman and the tactician to make sure that all the maneuvers are done correctly.
You know, every roll on the boat's pretty important, but if you mess this up, you look like a bloody fool. So no one wants to trawl the kite through the water and slow down, but if you do it well, it makes our team look good.
I use my fingers to show how many boat lengths we are away from the start line, and then like if we're ready to go racing, I just push them forward.
The most important being bowman is always to think one step ahead, always prepare all the ropes and make sure everything is attached properly, avoid any mistakes or that will delay hoisting. If we make a mistake, then of course everything will slow down the boat. Everything is dependent that things go smoothly here on the foredeck. Sometimes we have to clean up after others' mistakes.
It's so amazing to hear about the different positions on the boat while we're waiting for the boats to come in, actually to wind come back into the waters. But Diego, now we just heard about the bow, how they are helping with getting the sail up and down and all that. But they actually have a very important position in the starts. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so at the start, they will be at the bow of the boat, and they will be just saying how many boat lengths do we have still to go to the starting line. So their position is crucial. Although we do have GPS, it is really important just to have like a double check on that one.
So they are the visual eyes of the driver or the helm out there, telling us everything that's going to happen there. So when we are going to see them later, we are going to see them do like this, 2 or 1 or 4.
Yeah.
Then they're actually telling behind, hey, how far do I think there is to the starting line?
Right, and you will see different signs depending on the boat. The way we do it in the Mexican team is, just 3, 2, 1, and then go is just like this. That depends on each boat, but essentially it's the same role.
Essentially, it's the same role. And one of the guys we're going to talk a little bit about, one of the team captains is actually on this position. Let's talk about trimmers.
So I'm the grinder on the SSL 47, Team New Zealand. So my job is basically to control the primary and main winch during certain manoeuvres or to trim. 3 winches that we can drive. We've got the 2 primaries and then also the main winch at the back. George goes into the main winch, which will be the aft button. He's then able to drive it, and we've got 3 gears. He's able to change direction, which changes gears on the boat. So that's now engaging, and then that disengages the wind. Basically, that's our easiest gear, and then if we were to go button down, George is able to move it much faster. It's important to be powerful and strong, but it's also important to be in the right gear at the right time. So it's like going up a hill on a bike in the wrong gear. You know, it's not gonna be too easy.
Now, Diego, you laughed a little bit. I called them the trimmers. They are the grinders, but they're actually also trimming the sails a little bit. They are helping putting these sails up, and then sometimes they're not moving that much. So what is their function really? What's the importance of them?
So the thing that makes them crucial is they are actually the power to the boat. So whenever you are getting a sail up, getting a sail down, jabbing or tacking, they are gonna be the power to move those ropes, let's say. So actually, the guys that are holding the ropes, they aren't doing much effort. The ones that are getting the effort done or the things done are the grinders.
They're the grinders. They're those getting the things done. And when saying things done, we are still waiting for wind and all that. Let's just experience how beautiful an area we are. We are in Switzerland. We are at Lake Neuchâtel. So please see how beautiful there is here. Wow, Diego, it's so beautiful to travel around Switzerland. I'm actually a third-generation Swiss myself and been here quite some time. Is it the first time you're here in Canton in Switzerland?
It's actually the second time. The first time I came to UpWorld, but it was on another lake. It was at let me remember that one.
Maybe with Geneva, Lake Geneva.
Let me.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. One thing that matters is you're just tuning in, and today's race program is coming up here. We are a little bit delayed. We're waiting for the wind, but we're going to do race number 3 and race number 4 when the race jury is saying, hey, it's okay, we have wind and everything is up and running. But it's going to maybe take a little bit time. But let's see the overall score once again here, because the teams are very tight. We're going to have race 3, race 4, and yesterday we actually had 2 races under good conditions where Team Guatemala, they won both of them, having 8 points. And Oman, they actually got 2nd and 3rd, but they lost 1 point because they got a penalty after spin sailing because they made something disciplinarily, so they lost 1 point. Then Team Cuba, they lost and got 2nd in the 2nd race, and then yourself, Team Mexico, got 3rd and 4th in this year. But it's still giving the standing 8-4-4-3, meaning that everything is open for the taking today. So Diego, how much does these points and the races today then mean overall?
I mean, the way we are trying to see it is it's still in our hands. We do not depend on the results on other teams. So the results at the end, I mean, if this was last day, and it will still be in our hands. So basically, we're 1 point to the 2nd place. So that is a nice position. We're hoping to have a better one today.
I hope to have a better one today. Yeah, and then if we just go in and talk a little bit about it, we can also be in a situation where one of the races is going to be cancelled today. And tomorrow there's Golden Day, so all races that will be raced tomorrow will count double, meaning that will minimum be 2 races tomorrow, no matter what. And if there's no wind tomorrow, there will only be 1 race, so the 1 race they might do today, if it's going to be delayed so much, is actually going to mean a lot for all the teams, because Golden Day, the points count double. And with all this said, I'm just getting into my ear that we have a huge replay of what has happened until now. So let's go in and watch that one.
Them out of the ley line.
Now let's see what. Let's see what's going to happen here with Ecuador. 26 seconds left to go.
Yeah. And we're getting the replay of what's happening until now, a little bit coming in again a little bit in a second or two. But here you can see the boats on the water. We have a tower here where we're looking from, where we're commenting. We can see there's a kite up there, Spinnaker or Ginnaker. It has a lot of names around the world. And then the other boats are more relaxing. So when you're waiting here, what are you guys testing on the water, Diego? Because it's more waiting time. You said this is the most important time, actually.
Yeah, so I'm guessing the guys that have their Ginnaker up there just testing, probably seeing that everything works correctly, and the other guys are just trying to relax and just saving energy.
Just saving energy, and I have to say, now I've been doing another sport in a high level. Do you really have so much energy, need to use so much energy sailing? It's the wind doing the show for you.
I think it's on both sides. So yeah, the wind actually does much of the work, but you need to focus the energy that the winds give to the boat, and just use it in the most efficient way.
In the most efficient way. And one thing I really enjoy being here in Gran Song at the SSL Gold Cup is how we start everything. We start everything with an opening day, an opening ceremony in the castle of Gran Song. And let's see how this beautiful castle looks like.
Welcome to the castle of Grandson, a 14th century medieval fortress which overlooks the lake of Neuchâtel. That's here, some 500 years ago, where Charles the Bold, Duke of Burgundy, lost his first battle against the Swiss Confederate. This event changes the face of European history. Currently, until the year 2026, the castle is under heritage renovation. Still, the castle remains open and you can come here to visit and discover more about daily life and the history of Switzerland. Throughout the year, the castle organizes a lot of activities like animation, visits and workshops. If you want to discover daily life in Middle Ages or just discover the region, you can come here in the Castle of Grandson. We are really happy and thrilled to welcome SSL Gold Cup athletes in the Castle of Grandson, and we wish good luck to all of them. 500 years ago happened here a battle that changed the face of Europe. Now and here, athletes from all over the world are fighting to win an international championship. And if you come to the Castle of Grandson, you will be able to see from the walls all the battle on the lake between these world-class athletes.
And Diego, just seeing these pictures of these guys going on stage, and I experienced it this Tuesday. How does it feel to come up and be presented? And also, you are there as a nation, so how is your impression about it?
No, yeah, you feel super proud. I mean, for the guys that were up there and just be presented and being called one of the best ones in your country, and that you're gonna be representing your country is amazing.
Yeah, and with all that, this is the SSL Gold Cup. It is the Football World Cup in sailing. And right now, we are in what we sometimes experience in sailing, where there's a very light wind, or actually no wind, even when we came to the waters. So we are going in a few seconds into a small break, and then we will be back with more action for you.
Minus 10, 9, 8, we have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And welcome back to the SSL Gold Cup qualifying series, the Football World Cup, but in sailing. And we are back on the waters. The wind just came in after we just went on a small break. Suddenly the wind shifted and we are getting ready. The orange flag is up. But let's just see what you're going to see today. We're going to have two races coming up. It's race number 3 and it's race number 4. And they are fighting for getting some points. You can see it here. And it's Team Oman, it's Team Guatemala, Team Mexico, and Team Cuba. All of them fighting for it. I'm here with Diego Reyes, and he's our expert here. And Diego, as we talked about earlier, 8 points Guatemala and 4 and 3 points for the rest of them. So what's coming up with us here?
We had ahead of us a great race. It's gonna be really tight. Although Guatemala seems to be leading for quite a bit, it really don't show. It's not fair on how the other teams were doing yesterday. The races were really close, and I think it's gonna be the same for today.
Yeah, and with that said, let's see what they're fighting for.
This is a great opportunity for us to host the SSL Gold Cup in Bahrain. You know, Bahrain is an old seafarer nation. We based on pearl diving, dhows, traveling to India, to Africa, discovery. And now, you know, with this modernization, everything is gone. And now we are back to the sails, technical and racing with a strong wind and inspiration. It will be, I think, great. Well, yeah, we'll have a team. To be on board, I'm really, I would like to, but you know, for being a sailor for more than 40 years now, I'd like to advise only.
Wow, just hearing what they're fighting for. Coming to Bahrain in the SSL Gold Cup finals. And here we see the committee boat. It's here. It's an LA2 we're going to race. And then there's this yellow flag or orange flag saying that was 10 minutes to the start. But you can see out there in the corner, Diego, 4 minutes and 5 seconds coming in. So what are your teams doing out there right now? What are the boats doing?
So I can see Mexico and Guatemala going upwind. They're probably making the smaller adjustments to their upwind.
Yeah, and one of the things we know about this fantastic boat, the SSL 47, it's pretty slow in speeding up, and when you first have to speed, it's pretty fast to overpowering / you're not good. It's pretty hard to slow down. So it's all about timing your start and coming with speed into it. So where would they place themselves? Would they do like classic dinkies standing at the starting line, or what will you do here?
So it depends on each race. Yeah, because of course you want to be in the starting line with speed, but if you don't have this pace, I mean the starting line is quite small, so it's gonna be a combination of both. You wanna be at the starting point with full speed, but you also need the space to be there. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Almost only 3 minutes. It's 2 minutes and 50 seconds to the start. All the boats are quite far away from each other when we see the overall graphics here. So Cuba, Oman, and Mexico and Guatemala. It's all about having a good start. If you see the starting line, then we have a boat in the right-hand side where the committee was. That's called the committee boat. And the opposite side we call the pin and mark. And there are some classic rules in sailing called starboard, port side, and then we also have something called overlap. So what are they fighting for here? Now, let's just take the weather conditions first. 5.5 knots of wind, 75 degrees, and it's a little bit cloudy, but it's 80 degrees out there. So it's okay wind conditions. But what are they fighting for here? You can see the boat closest to us is the committee boat. The boat far away from us, with the yellow flag and orange flag, and the opposite side is the pin and mark. So, Diego, why are you trying to put yourself in these conditions?
Yeah, right now it doesn't really matter where they are. They have quite time to kill, so I can see they probably are just cruising for now. But yeah, the tactician should be really focused on the wind coming ahead, and yeah, just trying to spot some patterns.
Try to spot some patterns. And one thing we know is some of the teams are fighting a little bit. I think Team Guatemala can race a little bit more free than rest of them. So they didn't have the best start. Team Mexico didn't also have the best starts in the two first races. So let's see how they will come into it, what they will do, because the first upwind leg and this start is very important. I talked with the captain, Genti from Team Mexico. He said, hey Thomas, it's all about that speed, keeping that speed for the start. So will we see, we can almost see here when we're on the boat, how far they're actually away from the starting line. They're trying to come up, and now there's an overlap with Team Guatemala on the left side of them. So 50 seconds coming in. You can see they're battling for it. They're trying not to get caught by them. And this is the bowman. And now we're going to see the fingers we talked about earlier. How many boat lengths is coming here? Oh, what he's saying now?
He's saying, we have room, we have room.
Oh, we have room. This means we have room. There's free to go towards the starting line, but there's 35 seconds. They're positioning themselves in there. It's Team Oman. We saw tacked in front of the others. Here we are with Team Guatemala. And see how focused they are. This start is so important. 20 seconds, Diego. Cuba is a little bit outside. They can be cut off there. The gate can be closed, as we say. And there, one boat length to the start. 12 seconds, 10 seconds. It's now or never. Team Oman on the pin and mark. Guatemala in the middle. And here we see, again, a little bit slow start from Team Mexico. But it's a safe start. The start coming in. A very slow start for all the teams. 5 seconds, 6 seconds before crossing that starting line. Is that a safety start they're doing there, or are they just nervous?
They are probably being cautious. Yeah, just Cuba. Yeah, I think it was on the second race yesterday. He was over the line, and that can be quite pricey. So I can see why they are being over cautious.
Oh, you can see how slow Mexico and Cuba actually was. They are already 48, 60 meters behind of the leaders of Oman and then Guatemala. And it's a little bit harsh to say, but none of them had a good start.
Yeah.
But so very safe start here. So there might be a little bit nervousity out there. So let's see, they're running upwind. It's the first of 4 legs. They're going up to the top mark, and then they will round an offset mark going downwind again. So, Diego, these guys, are they just relaxing, or what are they doing outside of the side of the boat there?
Oh, they are hiking. So they are trying to the wind is actually trying to capsize the boat, and they are just doing the opposite.
Yeah. And there we have to start again. It's an okay start for Team Oman. They are at the pin and mark all by themselves, far away from Team Guatemala, but very slow start. And then is that Team Cuba already doing attack from the start, going opposite?
No, I don't think so.
No.
The one to attack, I think it was Mexico.
Yeah.
They are attacking back again to starboard.
Yeah, and right now, here we see Team Mexico. They tack to the right-hand side. There are two sides. The right-hand side is the right side when we're going upwind. The left-hand side is the left side when we're going upwind. And you can see Mexico, they did this tack to the right-hand side. And according to the measurements, they are more than close to 200 meters behind the leaders. But now they tack back, so they've already been doing 2 tacks into the middle of the race course. So interesting how they will have it. Right now it looks like they're a little bit far away from the others, but see, they're gaining meters. So being in the middle right now looks like that's where the wind is, Diego.
I think overall we are quite a fast boat. So what I think Eric is trying to do is just have a clean lane and just try to have the fastest boat he can.
And with Green Lane, here we can see this is called the overview of it. This is, here we have the tracking. You can see Oman there on the left-hand side, Guatemala in the middle, and Cuba. Those 3 are actually following each other quite well, but there's still some distance in between them. Here we see Oman. Oman needs to take care of one thing, that they're not getting caught in wind shadow by Team Guatemala there. Then they will slow down a little bit, because these huge sails capture the wind and throw a wind shadow. So how much does this wind shadow actually interfere on the boat in a boat like the SSL 47?
Oh, a lot. Yeah. If they get just a tiny bit, they will need to attack right away. So yeah, they're fighting for their life right now. I think, yeah, the strongest position, although Oman is in first place right now, I think the strongest position is Guatemala. Guatemala has the option to attack whenever he wants. I think he can make it over Cuba, and he's controlling Oman on the other side.
So there is a small control battle, and there we see Team Mexico. They're coming back with speed, and as you said, hey, they want clean air. Clean air just means we don't want this wind shadow. We don't want to battle the other ones. We want some speed, and see, they are winning meters, almost 1 meter per second at the moment on the leaders and on rest of the teams. There's going to the left-hand side, so it looks like the favored wind conditions are in the middle of the race course. So here we can see they're hiking out, and he's trimming the sails now, or what he's doing there?
Yeah, you will see almost constant. I don't know if you want to comment, but Cuba just stacked, and they're probably gonna be ahead of Mexico. They're probably looking to go into the middle of the course.
Yeah, we just saw Team Cuba attack to the right-hand side, where we're seeing Mexico going to the left-hand side. And the reason why we're just is because if they were close enough to each other, there's a rule called rule number 10, starboard port side, meaning that the boats coming from starboard is having the right way of the boats coming from the port side, and that's actually which side the wind is coming from, if it's coming leeward or windward on the boat. Don't worry, we'll explain more rules when we're coming into it without getting into all the technical details. Here we have the Team Cuba fighting the way up, and see how they're looking out there. They are right now in third position, taking a decision going to the right-hand side of the race course as the only team where the 3 other teams are going to the left side. So what are they seeing that we might not see there?
Yeah, personally, I don't like doing this, especially on lakes. It's just like flipping a coin, and just, lakes are super shifty, and if they are not with the pack and the left side get a shift on their side, they're going to be in trouble.
So they might be in trouble, but they can also win on this one. And we don't know what they're seeing on the waters. They are the eyes on the waters. We are sitting here in the studio looking at data, and right now it looks very good for all the teams. 8.4 knots of speed, while we are seeing Manso Lopez, the captain of Team Cuba here. He's really so focused and controlled of doing the things, taking a chance, going to the right-hand side. It might give him a favorite position later on, but you can see he needs to do attack again because he was losing momentum.
Right, they have to be, just going too far to the right. It was going to be a really tricky position, and I think that is why they're coming back.
That's why they're coming back, and you can see every time a team does attack, or if you're new to sailing, turn to the opposite side, then they're actually losing momentum. Luckily for Cuba, they're gaining a little bit, but Cuba losing momentum. Oman, Guatemala, side by side. Then we have a small gap to Cuba and a bigger gap to Team Mexico. So the start again for Team Mexico, a little bit slow, a little bit safe, but it's all about how they're coming up to that first top mark. If you're new to sailing, then hey, yeah, we know Team Cuba is the right-hand side. They're away from the pack, but it doesn't mean they're out of the race. Being behind with 100 meters in sailing is nothing. So here we have 2 teams beside each other. The wind shadow is almost coming in on Team Oman. So what to do? Oh, Guatemala is tacking away right now. So is that good for Oman, or do they need to follow Guatemala in this case?
No, I think that was precisely what they wanted. Oman, they were doing a high mode, so they were trying to push Guatemala away, and they actually accomplished that. You can see how right after Guatemala attacked, they veer away a little bit, so they're gaining speed again.
Yeah, so now you're saying a high mode. You need to explain all of the new viewers out there. What is high mode? Because I know what it is, but what is it actually?
So high mode is just trying to go as close as you can to the direction of the wind, and low mode on the other side is just trying to go faster.
Yeah. Okay, so low mode is making your angle bigger onto the wind, so you have more speed sailing a longer distance, but where high mode you're going closer to wind. Here we see another cross coming in. Cuba is actually going in front of Team Guatemala. So that tag from Team Guatemala actually put them in third position. Team Mexico coming in. Everything is very close. This is good news for Team Oman. There is in the lead, but you can see there are no wind. There's a very low wind pressure at Team Oman. So all the teams are getting closer and closer to them. See how they're zigzagging here. It's actually the battle of the tags we have right now. And Jaco, now Oman is coming in. Here we have the starboard port side rule. See, Cuba is coming from the right-hand side, going towards the left. Oman coming in. If Oman goes in front of Team Cuba here, and Team Cuba needs to go behind them or bears away, there's a penalty for Team Oman. So this is, you can almost see how they are almost hitting each other on that graphics.
Yeah, I think they're gonna dock them. I think Oman is gonna, from what I can see here, it's, they're probably gonna bear away Cuba.
There it comes in. The turn from Team Oman, so close of Cuba, but Cuba straight away tacks away.
Yeah.
So this is what you mean about dock it?
No, this is actually quite of taken out from a book. Oman has, from what we've seen on this race, they have a really nice high mode, so pushing their opponents away with that high mode, and that is why Cuba didn't want to just play with them. They just tagged away.
Yeah, and here we can see Team Guatemala. When they did this tag, they went all the way to the right-hand side, taking a chance. And here we see Castillo. He's here 2 times Continental on the trimmer. And then we can see here they're really fighting for it, but they're losing momentum. They went to the right-hand side, but with those wind conditions, and they tack towards the left-hand side again, they have to ride away. But back to the battle, you can see beautiful pictures here of them doing attack. And this is exactly what's happening here, going to the left-hand side. But we have this battle, Cuba versus Oman. Cuba is now in the lead, and that's good news for them because they are also going to the right-hand side, and they need to tack towards the gate, the top mark, meaning that they have to ride away on Oman. So what does Oman need to do? Just stay put, or do they need to do magic to not get that penalty?
I mean, I think what Oman needs to do right now is just take the second place for now and just play, just be ready to attack on the downwind.
Just get ready to jibe on the downwind. But let's see here, Mexico coming in middle, going in between the battle between Oman and Cuba. And Cuba, they are actually the underdogs, are putting themselves in a good position. While we are seeing here, Team Mexico, they only focus on one thing: speed, speed, and speed. We talked with the captain. He said, I'm only focused on one thing today, Thomas: speed, and then the rest of the teams can do their racing. Here, you can see this yellow dotted line. That's the ley line. It's called the ley line. That's the optimal angle towards the mark. Cuba coming in. And here we talk about the thing. Cuba has to ride away. Mexico, they need to bear away. You can see here, they have to go behind Cuba. And now it's interesting. Oman coming up. They might be in trouble. See, they need to bear away. They will lose their position also to Mexico. See how far they need to bear away, or else they were getting a penalty, because the rule says if you're entering this mark rounding zone, imagine 3 boat lengths from there, then there are some special rules, and if they're not entering the zone at the same time, it's starboard port side. So Cuba in the lead, then we have Mexico in second, and Oman, they bared away. They are there in third now. Quite extraordinary, I have to say, result in this upwind leg. So what will you do now, Jaco, to come back in downwind? See, Guatemala really lost it this time.
Yeah, so I mean, coming into with 2 first places, I had imagined that they would be a little bit more cautious. They went a little bit away from the fleet to the right, and now they are caught in trouble. And now it's a difficult one, because if you want to catch up with the other teams, your best bet is probably moving away from them, but that's going to be risky again, so let's see what they do.
Yeah, and here we have the launch of the spinners. It's very important to have a clean launch. You just saw behind them how the jib goes down. That's the front sail, and then the spinner goes up, and it looks very good for all the teams. A clean launch. Oh, there's a little bit trouble there. No, it's all clean up, and now like pearls on a string, they're sailing behind each other. But You can see almost imagining how Oman is going to the right-hand side on Mexico. Why are they doing that?
Well, they will try to have, again, a high mode, more speedy lane. Yeah, just for them to cover some wind from the Mexicans. But yeah, I don't think they have the speed to do that, but we'll see.
We will see, and right now we can see the team sailing like pearls on a string to the left-hand side of the race course. We know it looks like they're sailing to the right, but it's the left side of the race course, and you can see there's a small movement of the spinnaker, so there's not much wind out there. Cuba in the lead, Mexico in second, Oman in third. Oh, and we have a jibe straight away from Team Guatemala up there. Interesting call. They are so far behind that they're taking a chance going into the middle of the race course in the start. Is that flipping the coin once again?
Yeah, I mean, in the positions that they are right now, it's as I was telling you, it's probably their best bet. Mexico is also jibe. Let's see if the other teams join or they are going to continue straight on.
Let's see if they're joining. Right now, we have access to data and stats. Team Cuba only sailing 7 knots of wind in the right-hand side. Mexico, 8.4 knots of wind speed. This 1.4 knots of difference in wind speed, our boat speed, is crucial. It's really making the big difference, even if you need to take an extra jibe to come towards the gate mark. So Cuba sailing into lighter wind. You can also see the measurements up in the left side. Mexico ready to take the lead. Oman losing momentum. Guatemala trying to win. Right now, Mexico is the fastest boat. And now, did they fall asleep or what happened there? They just lay down on the boat. Is that because of the wind or what's happening?
No, it's actually the opposite. They are laying down in the boat just because there are so little wind and they don't want any. They want to maximize their aerodynamics of the boat, so that's why they're looking a little bit sleepy, but they are full aware of their surroundings.
Yeah, but that's fantastic. Let's go to water because this is quite interesting to see what they're doing here. Raquel, what's happening out there? Raquel, what's the wind doing out there? Oh, I can see. Yeah.
Hello, Thomas.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. What's happening with the wind?
We're going downwind with the teams. Yes, we're going downwind with them, and like you've been saying, lakes are tricky, and today it's been tricky. So we've seen the left being stronger, and then the right being stronger, and it's a bit like flipping the coins for me at least. But I think these guys know what they're doing. Or at least they're trying to read the wind the better they can. At the moment, I would like to be on the Mexican boat because they seem to be the strongest, because they're right there, like kind of controlling the fleet. They can easily go left or right if they see a wind change. But there are clouds all around the lakes. So actually, over the lakes, we have blue, clear skies almost. But around it, it's all very cloudy, and I think this is going to affect the way the wind goes. Especially if I look north of the lake, there are many clouds. I mean, I believe it might be some humidity up there, like even some slow rain as well. So this definitely affects the way the wind is filling in on the race course. But
But fantastic.
The race is fair. It's fair for everybody, yes.
Yeah. Fantastic to get this information about the weather and also the clouds out there. That's something we can't see in studio. Thank you for that thing, because right now we are actually seeing something quite, I have to say, exciting here in the race. Mexico in the lead, Cuba in second, Guatemala in third, and Oman, the leaders upwind, are in last position because of this downwind leg. And it looks like the wind pressure is in the middle of the race course at the moment.
Yeah, looks like it. And the other thing that is quite interesting in here is Guatemala is having a higher mode in here, so they're gonna be a little bit faster than the other boats, but they are actually not getting as close to the objective or to point B as the other guys. So let's see how that pays off.
And with that said, if you're new to sailing, when you sail towards a point, a mark, then you can actually choose to do a bigger angle and sail faster with the boats and capture the wind much better, or you can sail a smaller angle and sail slower towards a mark. Because you're not like a speedboat where you can race directly towards the mark. Here we are on Team Mexico. It looks like they are quite relaxed, or what's happening right now, Diego, because they also look like they are very alerted. And the same thing on Guatemala here, they're doing a jibe. It's an interesting jibe coming in now. It's a little bit earlier, I think.
It's a little bit early, yeah. And in the Mexican, you could see how Eric was looking for looking for the marks. So they are getting ready and taking decisions on what mark to take. He was doing that. Yeah. Now Guatemala seems with a reasonable pressure. So let's see.
Yeah, let's see. But again, it's like when we're doing zigzagging upwind, we're doing zigzagging downwind. And when we're doing the zigzagging downwind, we call it jibing. And right now you see Guatemala is losing momentum on Oman and Cuba. Mexico is winning a little bit momentum, and now they also hit a lighter wind like Guatemala. So they also need to take a decision soon, because the other boats are coming in with speed. This just means one thing for us. It's going to be a very, very fun and very close gate mark rounding we're coming down to. But I said it's a little bit early Guatemala did that jibe. It means that they are not on the route towards the gate mark. They need to do either one more jibe or two jibes more to round the gate mark. So what's going to happen here? Because they are approaching the two other boats. They have to ride away, so they need to stay clear.
Yeah, and also the interesting thing here with Guatemala is they are quite in an interesting position and strong position, because they can jibe and just cover the other boats, especially Oman. I think it's in a weak spot there. They'll be jibing on top of them just to cover them some wind. So that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, and here we have the team captain of Team Mexico coming in, taking a spot from one of you actually favorite sailors that passed away, and he has some legacy to live up to, and right now he's doing the best he can. He is in the lead, but see, now he's winning momentum again after doing an extra jibe, but it was like he was sailing into lighter wind, so the wind is in the middle of the race course. For small information out there, they're actually sailing quite fast in these conditions, 7.6 knots to 8.2 knots. And right now it's Mexico yet again being the fastest boat. Here we see how they're actually jibing downwind. Guatemala going all the way to the left-hand side, Oman going to the right-hand side together with Cuba, and Mexico trying to keep themselves in the middle. So who's taking the best decisions? That's the question we're going to see when they're rounding the gate mark. So Diego, if you were on the boat, you also been a helm and a tactician, and you were in the lead here now. So what will your purpose be? To stay focused on doing your own races, or look into the other boats and try to cover them up?
Yeah, no, with this kind of races and just having 4 boats in the water, you need to be fully aware of where the other boats are, and every decision that you take, you need to take it to the input basically where they are.
And now you see Mexico puts up the jib and also did a jibe. The reason why they're putting up this sail already is because they're getting ready for the mark rounding, the gate mark rounding here. And so soon the spinnaker will go down, so they already prepared this one. So it's a very crucial moment. The spinnaker goes down. Oh, it's hitting the water. No, oh, whoa, what a quite fast one there. Great move by Mexico, but they're going to the right-hand side. The side where there's been less wind in the latest upwind. And then next team coming in is Team Cuba, and it looks like they went opposite.
Yeah, right now they are playing a poker game. So it seemed at first that Cuba was going to go for the left side. Just because Mexico took that one, they are just making the opposite. But yeah, we can expect Mexico to tag quite soon, just to cover the rest of the fleet.
A little bit slow down with the spinning for Cuba, and here we have a battle. Guatemala is caught in a starboard port side. Oman is pressing them out. See, and this is crucial because Guatemala might lose momentum, and this momentum loss can cost a lot of things. 12 seconds it will take them to speed up again. Such a close battle. Who will win it? Oman has the right away. They're coming up, Guatemala. Will they tack Jago straight away to the left-hand side? What's happening? Raquel, what's happening out there?
Yes, it's very exciting. They're very close. They both chose a right-hand side mark. And but it doesn't look like Guatemala is going to tuck anytime soon, also because I don't think they can at the moment. They're overlapped. And Oman is in control, basically. So they're going upwind. 3 out of 4 boats chose the right. And honestly, I would have chose the right too, because it looks like it's a bit crispier, the water on this side rather than on the other one. And no, everything, I mean, all the excitement is actually settled down now. They're back on racing mode. All the teams are out, both teams are out hiking as strong as they can. And I mean, until Oman does anything, Guatemala is basically stuck in that position. But I can see up ahead, Mexico is going consistently on its way. And I don't think nothing to stop him. Actually, like I said, more crispier water up there, a little darker spots, darker patches on the water. So it means that the wind is a little stronger on the right, I think, at the moment, if I have to guess.
If you have to guess, and that's quite amazing. Thank you for that brief out there. And Diego, oh, here we see the tack behind, and Oman straight away tacks away. Fast reaction. They need to cover them up. It's a small match race we have here.
Yeah, no, and you can expect that Guatemala being having 2 first places yesterday. You can expect the other teams just trying to slow them down a little bit, and this is what Oman took their chances here.
Yeah, and with this result, with Mexico in the lead, sailing away from rest of them, they also just tack to the left-hand side. Then we will have a flip of the whole scoreboard there when we're coming in after this race. So everything is open up in this group. But quite interesting. One thing we heard from on water is that, hey, it looks like there's less wind in the left-hand side than the right-hand side. But looking at the data, Team Cuba is sailing 7.2 knots, and Oman and Guatemala and Mexico is sailing 8 to 8.4 knots of wind speed. So yes, that was correct, but it's not much. It's only 1 knot speed difference.
Well, 1 knot speed difference within a full upwind, it's a big difference. But yeah, we see Cuba again flipping the coin, as I call it, to the left side. On the first on the first leg, they went to the right, and then they're going to the left. Quite interesting. We'll see how it pays off for them.
It's quite interesting thing, but one thing is for sure, when we see this picture here, the overview here on the tracking, then we see Oman, Guatemala, they're fighting each other. This gives Cuba and Mexico free air just to sail free and go up there. And right now, according to our data, Cuba is hitting wind. They're speeding up. They are sailing faster than the other ones. So flipping the coin, going to the left-hand side, they might find something. But there's a difference of sailing on lakes and open water. I heard that with talking with some of the captains. Yesterday we saw Guatemala doing the same thing. And on the water it looks like oil. There was no wind there. But suddenly they actually captured wind, because sometimes the wind is in a higher level than on the water level on the lake. So how does that feel? You're normally sailing on a lake.
Yeah, no. Normally in the lake or in the lakes that I've sailed, actually the wind always or almost always touch the water. So yeah, you can actually see the difference and how it's gonna be changing the shifts in the wind ahead. In here, when it's not touching the lake, it's kind of sailing like blindfolded, so it's a little bit awkward, but yeah, we're getting used to it.
We are getting used to it, he says. Yes, and we had a quiet discussion with some of the captains, and now we see Mexico doing another tack to the right-hand side, and I can tell you why. Cuba is coming in with speed. Mexico has the right of way, but if Mexico doesn't react on this one, they cannot covering up Cuba, because Cuba is actually finding wind where the other ones are losing momentum at the moment. So everything opens up again. It looks like Cuba, if they continue this path, what they're doing right now, they're only 51 meters behind Mexico and they're winning momentum. Then they will go in and take the overall lead in the second upwind leg, the last upwind leg before going downwind to the finish line.
Yeah, and this was a difficult call because you're going, you're losing the coverage on two opponents, so on Guatemala and Oman, but here you're fighting for the lead. So that is why they're attacking and just trying to find some more wind on the right side.
But one thing, I talked with your team captain, Gentry, he said, hey, it's all about consistency in sailing. So it doesn't matter you win, but just keep yourself in top two all the time and doing your race all the time. But here, he actually took a decision for the win and not for the coverage.
Right. Yeah, that is why I was saying it was I bet it was a difficult decision. Now they're coming back. So I guess they are trying to be consistent on what they told you, Thomas.
Let's see what's happened, because every time they attack, you can see on the meters up there, you lose around 20 meters. Cuba coming in, 24 meters, 16 meters. It looks like Cuba is having the lead soon, 8 meters. This might lose it for Mexico. You can almost see the lines here, and you can see Cuba, they're also changing their angle. So, Cuba, the new leaders in the second upwind leg, and now they're covering up Mexico. But is that too early? I have to say, I'm coming from the virtual world. In my world, that was a too early tag they did there. I might go a little bit higher to cover it.
Yeah, they were friendly with us. They are probably not... it wasn't too aggressive, to be honest. If it would be... this is a kind from them.
That was a kind move from them, but there's no kindness here. Here we see Suarez Manso, third at the Continental Games here, coming in, and you can see Cuba, they're really looking for it. See how much they're discussing, how much they're talking, and the captain, Lopez, just calming down his trimmer there. You can just see how calm they are. They're just hiking out, looking for what's happening. So close, Mexico now in the lead, Cuba in second. And actually we are in an issue where Mexico has the right of way when they're approaching the top mark.
Yeah.
So Cuba needs to do something.
The discussion between them, I can already see that they're second guessing their decision on being too early on that attack.
So they're almost discussing what we are discussing in studio, but let's see. Oman has tacked away from Guatemala. Guatemala continue to the left-hand side. So Oman keeping their position up towards the middle. Cuba in the middle also. They are soon, I think they need to do a tag to not lose the momentum to Mexico, or they just need to say, okay, it's okay, we're getting second, we'll take the battle downwind. But Mexico, after that mistake, they're coming back in, and just saying it, Cuba tagged straight away. It's like we're riding this history, we're riding this game, we're riding this race. So let's see, Mexico, Cuba, now the crosses come, and it looks like, oh, Mexico tags in front of them. Oh, it's a very close call. Whoosh. Have you done this one? Because now they're both approaching the top mark from the same side. Means that the boat on the inside, if they overlap, has the right of way. Is that a bad position for Mexico now?
Yeah, and you can see they had their red flag out, so they were actually protesting Mexico. I have not seen the decision, the umpire.
It's interesting. We are not seeing the umpire, what they're deciding. Maybe Rekila on the water. Is there a penalty or what happened? We just saw a protest.
Yes, Team Cuba actually hoisted a red flag asking for a penalty to Mexico, but the umpire went out with a white and green flag. So no protest. No, sorry, the protest went blank. There is not going to be a penalty for Team Mexico. They are actually almost. They're very close to the top mark, and. Well, I cannot tell you who is ahead because they're very close, and from where we are, I can't say.
Yeah. But thank you for
that
observation.
But they're both very speedy.
Yeah. Thank you for that observation. That was the most important part here. They're side by side. They're closing to the top mark, and we can see on the replay that there was no penalty. There was room free. You have to make a clean away so they can just sail into it. But right now, Mexico is in trouble because Cuba is on the inside. So if they're approaching you guys out there, if you don't know anything about sailing, you meet your match at the mark. There's like an invincible circle around about it where it's 3 boat lengths. And if they're approaching into that mark, Cuba has the right of way if they are overlapped like they are here right now.
Yeah, and now I can bet Team Mexico is trying to play with their high mode. They are trying to push away Cuba, so they are not looking for speed anymore. They want to be as high as they can, and I bet that is what they're trying to do right now.
Yeah, and it's quite amazing because the wind is coming from the left-hand side right now of them. That means Mexico right now have the right of way. It's the leeward boat. That's the side where the wind leaves that has the right of way. So Cuba needs to stay clear so Mexico can actually steer a little bit in front of Cuba,
Right.
but they're not allowed just to sail in front of them. And you can almost see they're coming up to the mark here, but they cannot tack in front of Cuba because then they are doing a penalty. So Cuba can pressure Mexico way out of the ley lines. Here we see it. Now this is crucial. Mexico tacks into the top mark. Cuba, they just want so much momentum that they managed to do it, steer their boat. Congratulations, Mexico. And now Cuba comes in. I think it's a little bit too early doing that one, but let's see how it goes. Such a close battle. It's going to be the dance of the jibes downwind if they're not just following each other. Great race by both teams. And Jacob, now they're coming up to this mark rounding. They're going down to the downwind. What will you do? You're the tactician here now in Mexico. Yeah, the killer, you're at the mark. What are we seeing up there?
Well, we saw Mexico round the mark, but comfortably with a lot of room, so they wanted to be higher probably on the offset leg, and they're preparing for the hoist. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but I think the Mexican have been the better at maneuvering, very clean one so far. Also, Cuba is now preparing, the bowsprit is out, and they're about to launch the kite as well. Lots of work on the Mexican boat, and we see the kite going up. There's a lot of room, a lot of margin between the first 2 boats and the other 2 boats. It's almost like there are 2 different races on the same race. And Mexico's kite is up, and they're going downwind. So you were saying the left was favored. I don't know if I have to agree, but looks like they're all going on that side. So close to the west coast.
Yeah.
So where the SSL headquarters is, on Lake Neuchâtel, and yeah, they're off the 2 first boats, and the 2 seconds one are coming. They're doing the offset. They're very close to each other. Like I said, it's like almost like they're doing 2 match races basically on this race.
And we have to say in studio,
more relaxed.
yeah, thank you for that. 2 match races, and now we're going to see the most important mark rounding, both for Oman and Guatemala. They're going to round. They're going to launch the kite or the spinnaker when they're going downwind here. And a small mistake there for these 2 teams that's not used to sail in this boat can cost them the position. So let's see this rounding here. Oman first. Grinder's working on it. Spinnaker up. Oh, it's a little bit early. They're launching it behind them. But it looks like a clean launch here. But they did a jibe straight away. A sambuca, as they called it here. No, what's happening? It looks like they were going in towards the left-hand side instead of the right-hand side. So interesting what they're doing here now.
Yeah, right now Guatemala is having an aggressive position. They're going higher, and they're trying to cover some wind from the Oman, and I think they're getting away with it. I can see it.
Oh, see there, yeah.
Now the Oman team needs to jibe.
Wind shadow, and see, they do the jibe straight away. Wind shadow. Guatemala took the wind away from Oman, but if they jibe and continue with Oman, then they will be in trouble.
Right.
So they need to have a little bit more space right now. So it looks like the wind disappeared. See, the waters is almost like oil now. They're going downwind. It's the last leg downwind. It's for the finish line. It's about points. All teams must be very happy right now because Guatemala, They're in 3rd/4th. Oman needs to win this one. Then the whole leaderboard will switch around. Mexico in the lead with Cuba behind them. Can Cuba do anything here? It's 93 meters. It's downwind. It's around 500 meters left.
It's a difficult one for Cuba. They are 90 meters behind the wind shadow. It's going to be difficult for them. As we can see from data, they're not going faster than the Mexican team. So it's going to be tricky. It's not impossible, but it's going to be tricky for them.
It's going to be tricky for them. Here we see on Mexico, we have Eric Bachmann here. He's a national champion, and you can see here they're discussing a little bit and at the same time relaxing, waiting for the calls. So can they just cruise it home? No, it looks like Cuba is coming in with more speed. So what are you guys discussing here? What are the plans, Diego?
Yeah, right now, Team Mexico, as you can see from one of their guys, he's looking almost backwards. He's just keeping an eye on Cuba and just seeing what they're doing, communicating to the team, and we need to be reactive at this point.
So Gentry, he must be very happy. He was at the Olympics in Rio, and he is a national champion. But coming in, taking over this captain role from one of the stars of Mexico that passed away, and then going in to take the win here on the second day, that must be a great feeling for him.
Right. No, I don't think he's happy still. We say it ends at the end. So we need to, I'm quite sure he's super focused, laser focused right now. And yeah, he just wants this to end.
He just wants this to end. Right now, he lost 20 meters on Cuba, so it's not over yet. It looks like Cuba can go in and pressure Team Mexico, race for the finish line. While we have been focusing on these two teams, then behind us, we're just watching the tracking. We can see Oman versus Guatemala, and Oman is winning this one. See here, the captain of Team Cuba, Manso Lopez. He must be very pleased. Second place, being an underdog. Second place when they started the racing today, and getting a second place in first race. That must be quite a good feeling. But he's still up for the grabbing, for taking the win. He's coming in and taking it here. And of course, he has a whole team supporting him there, and they are all just see how they're discussing and working together. So. Will they be aggressive, or do you think they're happy of that second place?
I mean, they are trying to be as aggressive as they can compared to the other boats. Mainly Oman and Guatemala. You can see they are high. They are going higher from them, and this is because mainly because Cuba is going higher. So they are pushing Mexico to go higher, and yeah, they are probably losing a little bit on the other ones, but this is a match race right now.
It's a small match race. There's 80 meters in between the two leaders, but there's also a small match race behind Oman versus Guatemala. So we have two races in this qualifier series, race number 3. And you can see Mexico, Cuba. It looks like Mexico is speeding up and sneaking away, but something magical happened behind. Oman, when they did that jibe going to the left-hand side, they were under pressure by Guatemala, forced Guatemala going way out to the left-hand side, to the left side, and then Guatemala lost momentum, lost the win. So now Oman is in 3rd and Guatemala is in 4th. So this is a dream scenario for all the teams except Guatemala.
Yeah, this is our, let's say, our dream position for the first race. When Juan from the Guatemala team decided to push Oman to jibe, I don't know if he was actually thinking on which side of the course he wanted to be. He just was being aggressive, and this probably didn't pay off because of that.
It didn't pay it off because of that, and when we can see here the teams are going to the right-hand side, it looks like they're going after only doing one jibe towards the finish line. It looks like the teams are quite satisfied. Mexico keep themselves in the lead. Quite good speed they have up there. Mexico 8.4 knots of speed, and then we can see Cuba 8.2. Oman and Guatemala, they are also coming with speed, but it looks like Oman is losing momentum at the moment. This might be Guatemala's chance to come back.
They're getting ready to jibe.
Yeah, The jibe coming in. Is this the final jibe? Are they timing it that well that they can hit that finish line without doing another jibe? Every time they jibe, they lose momentum and they lose their speed.
It's gonna be tricky on this one, but I think either way it works for them. They are well positioned, so let's see if they can make it with this jibe. But Cuba just jiving behind them, it's just a dream for the Mexican team right now.
Yeah, and now we see a battle, and I have to say, if we can go into, we have the two boats in the lead. It looks quite comfortable for Mexico, but there's a very interesting battle behind if we go to the 3D mode. Guatemala versus Oman, and right now Oman, they jibed in a little bit earlier and pressured Guatemala, because then they have to ride away and they're forcing Guatemala to do a jibe and slowing down. So that's a very close match race. We're going to see that for that third and fourth position. See those, how they're battling it out straight away. And it looks like Oman's again doing another jibe. So those two are going to do the dance of the jibes all the way to the finish line, pressuring each other. But Cuba winning momentum at the moment on Mexico. You can see here Team Guatemala under pressure, and Oman on the opposite side, how they jibed away. So they're splitting up, but they're going to meet again when they're approaching the finish line.
Yeah, this was an important movement from Guatemala. They jibed and they were just covering a lot of hole of wind from Oman. So Oman had to jibe. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know what is Guatemala waiting for the jibe. But yeah.
So actually what you're saying to me that Oman, when they attacked Guatemala, there was an aggressive attack on them, then they actually made a mistake, giving Guatemala the chance to throw dirty air on them, right, and then forcing Oman to do an extra jibe. And this is why Oman is now in the last position. Here we see the race towards the finish line. There's only 230 meters left, 50 meters in between Mexico and Cuba. Who will take it? It looks like Mexico is taking it, but wind momentum, Mexico is slower than Cuba. This means Cuba has a chance to take it on the finish line. Will Mexico or Cuba take this victory in race 3, the first race of today? See, almost side by side, but it looks great. Mexico taking victory in race number 3, and it only took them 44 minutes and 43 seconds. Congratulations, Mexico. And you can see how pleased they are on that boat. See, happy there. Not celebrating too much. A new race coming in, but a good race by them. But I also have to say to the underdogs, Team Cuba, second place in this race. Great racing by them.
Great racing, and they keep it clean. They didn't want to be between boats or having trouble with other boats, and that's been result. They've been having good results because of that, I think.
They have been having good results because of that. And then you see the jibe battle. It looks like, oh, it's going to be very interesting. We can see that's Guatemala behind Cuba, and then we can see Oman coming in. It looks like Guatemala is winning the downwind leg. So Oman lost it because of the aggressiveness too early. Here, Guatemala taking third place, and that, I have to say, they must be satisfied of actually getting third, because for a long time it looks like they were going to lose today. So this just shows how tight sailing can be, because Oman coming in here, they must be a little bit unsatisfied by the last attack they did on Guatemala, because they put themselves in a worse position.
Yeah, I can bet they are not pleased with themselves. I'm quite sure they're gonna be having a small debrief after this race, and just regrouping before the next one.
Regrouping before the next one. Oman getting in fourth position. This gives Mexico first, Cuba second, Guatemala third, and Oman going into a fourth position. And before going on water to our on-water reporter that's trying to catch the winning team, maybe we could see the race results, how many points they're getting here, because in the SSL Gold Cup, for victory you don't get 1 point, but you actually get 4 points. So in sailing it's normally the lower point system. Here it's opposite. So 4 points Mexico, 3 points to Cuba, 2 points to Guatemala, and 1 point to Team Oman. And that will give us a brand new and exciting overall score when we're coming into that one. But if you have to look into this race, who did it best?
I don't know. I would say Mexico. Basically, well, just because they won, not because I'm from Mexico, but they didn't have a really strong start. So they need to work on that one for the next race.
Yeah. Yes. And with that said, here Guatemala 10 points, Mexico 7, Cuba 7, and Oman 5 points. Let's look at the race replay of this fantastic race. Super. 1 minute 30 seconds break. Great. Yeah. Wow, great racing we had today. And there we see our on-water reporter getting ready here on Team Mexico. Rikela, can you hear us out there or how is it?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. I'm on the team that won the last race. I'm with Eric. I can't pronounce your last name, but he will tell you. And Eric, what a great race.
Yeah, it was good to start the day with a good race. Yesterday it was not easy for us with the wind shifts. And today, even though we didn't get a good start, we were able to just focus on the next shift and stay close to the competition. And the boat felt really good. The team did a great job, so that always makes it better. And now looking forward to the next race.
Yes, your team is a bit changed from yesterday. We see Yannick, your captain, back on board. What else changed in the team?
Yeah, well, we're 11 team members and we can only sail with 9. But I think both teams are just as strong. And yesterday actually on the boat we were very, very happy with how things were going, but this is not an easy leg. You really have to keep your head up to see the next shift. And with 4 boats, things can change very quickly. So we feel strong with both teams and looking forward now to keep the momentum and it's good to be back in the fight.
Yes, one last question. So you said yesterday was shifty. Oh, sorry, Thomas, we have no more time?
Yeah, no. We have one question here from studio because I had the pleasure to talk with
go
Eric
ahead.
this
They
morning.
have a question from studio.
He said this morning, and you can say to it, Eric asked this morning, hey, we will go for the speed and not for the start. And again today, Mexico had a slow start. So how did they come back in this race?
Yeah, he wants to know how you came back in the game after a slow start.
Yeah, I mean, we just had to do 2 tacks, but we positioned ourselves just above the fleet and close to them to be in the same game. We know that we are fast and we don't really have to do much crazy things to get back in a race, and we just want to be in the hunt for the first 2 legs, and then we did a good upwind, we did a great downwind and positioned ourselves in first, and then we actually had a Cuba came back on the left side, but we had 2 boats protected. You cannot protect the 3 of the boats, but then we managed to fight our way back against Cuba. So
I'm impressed because you said yesterday was shifty. I think it was shifty today too. Was it worse?
Yes, actually shifts are even worse today, but in direction-wise, but pressure is more similar today. So yesterday it was more about pressure. Today is more about shifts.
Yeah, and thank you for this because orange flag is going up. So we're getting ready for race number 2 in the. It's race number 4 overall. And Diego, hearing you, Eric, from your team talking about this, as we said here in studio and saw, it was actually a bad start, a very slow and safe start, not taking any chances, but somehow they managed to find the win and get speed back in the boat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Eric. So he's what he said is it's what we think as a boat, as a team. We are kind of really strong on the speed, so we don't have to do crazy things to be up there. We just need to be with the pack.
But you called the Las Catrinas, so not doing crazy things,
Yeah.
but not watching more in Mexico. We can see here overall 10.775 means if Mexico continue doing this great racing, then Guatemala lost their whole advantage for tomorrow. So interesting, the race number 4 that is coming in, orange flag will be raised in around 3 minutes. So that means that we are soon getting ready for the next race 4. But let's before going on the water, let's have an interview with Team Oman.
Yeah, I mean, we started yesterday the racing with the fleet, so we have a great day yesterday, great condition, very light, but a day from after days be different. So I think we're ready to all the condition, and the second day today is hope to do better than yesterday, and hope to stay in the lead. Yeah, I mean, today we have a delay because of the wind. Normally at 11 o'clock our start, and from the race officer they delay until 1 o'clock. So it's going to be good wind later on. So I think the team warm up now for later on, and so excited. Yeah, I mean, SSL World Cup is, as a football cup, so a very high performance, and you're racing with the huge and the famous people in the world. That is a big star, I call it. So it means to us and to the Omani people huge stuff. So we're so proud to come here in Switzerland or anywhere else to this competition. So we're so happy.
And with that said, from the proud team captain of Team Oman, Al Masari, I have to say one thing. They're really fighting it out there. And one thing we saw with Team Oman, they really took the battle to Guatemala, but they lost it in that jibe. First, they won it at the first mark, at the top mark in the second downwind leg. They won it because Guatemala made a mistake, came in behind, took the wind, but then Oman jibed into the middle and Guatemala had to continue. But then what happened when they met again? Because Oman was attacking Guatemala, but they lost the battle.
Yeah, so when you're going downwind, actually the one that has the upper hand is the boat behind, and the one that can actually attack. So that is what Guatemala did. From the beginning of the downwind, he was attacking Oman, and he managed to make them do 2 extra jabs, and those were the ones that counted at the end.
That's what's counting in the end. And let's see a little bit more if you're coming in. This is race number 4, and then let's have a team line up. But just so you know who we win, let's just see Team Guatemala coming in here. Who's on the water today? And there we have Team Guatemala coming in, and there are a family out there, the Mecklin family, the Helm, the tactician is also there. But as a team, they're really fighting for it. But one thing is, they have this floater Perez. So they are actually 10 persons on the boat, where the others are 8 or 9 persons on the boat. But in this case, it didn't help them much having an extra hand out there. So how can they improve in this race? Maybe what did they wrong in the last race, or where do you see they can improve their racing, Diego?
No, I think I think they have the crew it's the correct one. I don't think their 10th crew member is what's going wrong. It was mainly tactics and just decision on the boat.
The decisions on the boat. And with that said, let's go to Team Oman. We just had an interview with the team captains there. They're also battling it out for it. And one of the things here, I'm really looking into it. Yeah, they have the Al-Hadi. There's been on the 49er team, but Wahabi, he's actually the guy who is the future of this team. And he's the main trimmer. And they actually had a very good race, but they only did one mistake, and that was the last downwind leg. So will we see them come back in this race, or should they do another tactic?
No, I think they're coming back. As I told you before, this is gonna be a really, really close one.
as you said, they had only one major mistake, so it's gonna be I think they're gonna probably be following the same tactic as this one, and they better do a better job with Guatemala.
Yeah, and then we have the underdogs, Team Cuba. They were second overall going into the race today, and they got a second place in the first race. They must be very proud and satisfied with it. With Manso Lopez, the team captain there, the routine guy, but they're also quite a mix. They are very routine sailors in there. And Suarez Manso is also very routine. So will they continue doing this, or are they taking chances? Because I heard you a lot of times commentating, hey, they're now throwing the coin up in the air. They're taking a chance. Is this the way they're doing it? Because when I see a team getting second, it's not luck.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not luck. They are probably the team that it's having the cleanest races. So by just sailing alone, being loners in either the right side on the first race or the left side in the second race, they could focus just on speed, and that's been working for them, and apparently they will continue doing that, I think.
They will continue doing that. And then we have Team Mexico coming in, the winner of the last race, and we talked a lot about them and saw a lot about them. The tactician Eric Brockman. Then we have Gentry, the helm, and the captain. But I'm more interested in this mix we have of a team, because you both have females and males on the team, and now we can see you down in the corners here in the studio today. Mm-hmm. But how is this team assembled? Because you're all dinghy sailors.
Most of our team is dinghy persons, but we have some of the big boats in that also sail in big boats. So we have Eric Brockman, Juan Varela, and Juan Medina that also under that actually have quite a bit of experience in big boats. So I think it's quite a balanced crew.
Quite a balanced crew. And with that said, let's go into an interview with Team Mexico.
My team during this qualifying series is ready to go out and have a great performance. We gathered for the first time the best sailors of Mexico on one boat. This is something historic for Mexico because it never happened before. And we have sailors from all classes and all Pan American medalists, and we're ready to go out there and give it all. The SSL Gold Cup is a huge achievement that just happened this first edition for Mexico. It represents national pride, and wearing the green jersey like they do in football is for us something huge. We're competing amongst the best sailors in the world, and we're out there with this opportunity to prove what we're made of, and we always give it all. We're aiming to sail at the top of the fleet. Yesterday was a tough day for us, so it's time to turn the game and make it positive for us.
And it's quite interesting to hear how Gentry is talking about this. Here we can see sails is going to be light. It's going to be an LA2 again. The orange flag is up, meaning that the race will start within 10 minutes. I think there's 7 minutes left. But so let's just hear from Raquela out on the water. How's the wind conditions? Any changes?
Thomas, no, not many changes, I would say. So a little direction change, a bit more on the left. I think we are more northeast rather than east like it was last race. But what I can see is darker water towards the top mark. So like we saw also in race number 3, it's probably windier up on the race course rather than downwind at the gate or at the start at the moment. So this is what I see. I don't see any side favored. I see some patches of stronger winds and lighter ones, but they're evenly spread on the race course. So again, it's going to be in the tactician's hand to pick the right side and to make the boat go fast. So
Interesting.
Tricky.
Yeah, tricky
Again.
and interesting and tricky. Let's see how it evolves. Thank you, Raquela. We'll come back to you during the race. There's 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. But Diego, before we start here, I have one question. I heard your captain saying sailing in the green jerseys like the football players of Mexico is such a big thing. I also know that you guys hit the national TV station yesterday. How does it feel to see sailing growing because of a format like the SSL Gold Cup?
No, it's great. I mean, Mexico is a fully footballer country, I'll say. But yeah, to having or to leverage from there for the sailing, I think it's gonna be great.
It's going to be great, and one thing that's going to be great is that we are soon approaching 2 minutes towards the start. And one thing we know about this boat, if there's a lighter wind at the starting line and the gate mark where we are at the moment, then they need to have some speed coming to the start. You guys are dinghy sailors, and normally when we are sailing in dinghy, and this is for all of those out there that don't know much about sailing, then you actually take the boat up to the starting line, almost stop the boat on the starting line, and then when the start goes, you release and then you sail. How does it feel in this SSL 47? Can you do that?
No, that's gonna be really difficult on these big boats. They're gonna be starting probably 50 meters behind the line before they fully start building up some speed, some serious speed. So yeah, it's not at all like a dinghy.
Yeah, and now we see 1 minute and 16 seconds left. The boats are going close to the committee boat. That's closest to us. And then we have the pin and mark on the opposite side. The bow is ready here, getting ready to communicate what's happening here. We have Team Mexico bow, and it's very important communication. That's how many boat lengths release or relax. There's clean path. You can just sail. There's mark room, everything. Let's see what happens. There we have the committee boat. There we have the pin and boat. It's all about this start. This start is crucial, and Mexico is in a very bad position. The gate trap can come in. They can be in a trouble where they can be cut off, but it looks like Oman, Mexico, and Guatemala, Oman, Cuba, and Guatemala are fighting against Guatemala, so maybe Mexico can sneak away. Let's see what happens. This start is very important. If you imagine the red line is the starting line, Mexico is outside of that red line right now. Here we see Oman and Guatemala, but Mexico is further away. So, Diego, what to do? It's only 10 seconds. We'll take it afterwards. Here, Oman coming in, Guatemala coming in, Cuba by itself, Mexico coming in, but Mexico can be cut off now. See, oh, they're going behind. They know it. The start already went. So, a very, very, very slow start again for all the teams. It's a clean start, but 10 seconds before crossing the starting line. But this time, almost at the same time. So, Diego, what to tell about this start?
No, yeah, the teams are being super aggressive in the starting line. So they're fighting so much between them that it's more of position that to being on the line.
Yeah,
so
and
they are fighting for the position instead of fighting for being fast at the line.
And here we see quite interesting, Mexico going to the right-hand side straight away. Again, a bad start, starting in third position. But now they go to the right, Cuba going to the left, and then in between, Guatemala and Oman. Almost the same story as last race, but Mexico tacked a little bit early. If they have continued their path, they could actually cover both Guatemala and Cuba and ensuring that they could not tack. So why already tacking away now?
No, I think what happened there is they were just too close to Oman, and I think one of the strong things about the Oman team is that they have a really strong higher mode. So yeah, they're coming back, they're preparing their attack, they're attacking again, and they're gonna be trying to get closer to the fleet.
And now they are in a starboard tack, meaning they have the right of way. So when they're coming in front of Oman, Oman needs to bear away or tack in with them. So, but let's see that start again. It was a very slow start. So let's see it here, Diego. Can you help us a little bit here? You can see the start is there. It's a clean start. Cuba coming first, Guatemala, and then the rest of the team coming in here. So it was very slow one again. Mexico and Oman didn't have the speed.
Yeah, they didn't have the speed, and because they had no speed, they had no height. So that is why Guatemala was already pushing Oman and Mexico to attack.
That's why we're already seeing the tag, and now we can see here we have Team Oman. They're going to the right-hand side. They're actually sailing with a very big angle towards the wind. It's like they are not hitting it the right way. Here when we see Musab Al-Hadi, he's an Asian champion in this boat, and I can say to you, they're really fighting for it, 160 meters behind. But we saw in last race, these meters don't mean anything because a lot of things can happen here while they're sailing up here. The captain, also the grinder of the team, you can also see he's quite bigger than the rest of them. Also, so that means he's putting the strain, but a lot of communication. Where is the wind? Where to go?
Yeah, and this is really interesting because you can see from their communication between the team that multiple people is giving input into to their helmsman, and this is not common in every boat. Sometimes in some boats, sometimes 2 or 3 people are able to talk or can give input, but here you can see multiple people just giving tons of input to the helmsman.
So all of them giving info, but is that a weakness sign? I'm just saying because there's a lot of communication on these teams, but there's a tactician, there's a bow, and then there's a helm and a captain. But it's the helm, it's the tactician, the bow telling the most.
Yeah. So it's I don't see it as a weakness. It can be actually a strength, but the tactician or the helmsman need to be really strong on their positions and on their decisions.
Yeah. And now we see Oman tacking back to rest of the fleet. And while we are talking about this, we can see Guatemala doing attack to the right-hand side, and they might be in trouble with Team Mexico because they are on the same level. So there, you can almost imagine how these two boats are crossing into each other and can sail into each other. So Mexico is controlling Guatemala. Either they will attack in front of them or continue their path and make Guatemala going behind them. Cuba, they're free to sail. They must be very satisfied with this start, but they also did attack towards the middle. And it looks like on our data that Mexico attacked above Guatemala instead of actually pressuring them to go behind them. So let's see here. Cuba really fighting for it here. Guardian Layoso, he's one of the routine sailors, really doing a great thing for the team. And one thing that is with Team Cuba is the routine of this team is actually carrying the team all the way. So let's see if that's giving the victory of this race. And right now it looks quite good for them.
Yeah, and right from the start, I think we can see a pattern in here. Cuba is just keeping away from the other boats. Guatemala, Oman, and Mexico have already had some interactions between them, while Cuba is just having their race on their own.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting. We saw before how Mexico approaches Guatemala with right away. They tacked above Guatemala, but now they're losing momentum. So maybe they should have been pressuring them a little bit more. Here we see Maria Isabella Meklin. She's one of the Olympians, one of those been at the Olympians in Tokyo 2021. And she's also the sister to the captain, Juan. So that family knows a lot about sailing, and you know them quite well. So what's the special? Why are they so good in sailing in that family?
I mean, all the way from his father, they are huge sailing enthusiasts, and they had all the support from their family, and they really liked sailing. So yeah, they are really sailing family.
And with this overview, we can see Cuba, they must be very pleased, maybe taking a victory, but don't worry, it's the first upwind leg out of 4 legs in total. And then Guatemala and Mexico and Oman is battling it out. And it looks like Oman is coming back in the race, and Mexico, with that, I have to say, very defensive move instead of aggressive move on Guatemala, costed them their position.
I don't know if they had the opportunity to just cross them from the angle here or from the GPS.
it seemed like they could be more aggressive, but I don't know the full story or yeah.
No, something happened on the water. We might know. While we are enjoying here at Team Oman, sailing upwind here from our drone shot, almost see how this boat is tilting to the side. So, is the wind pressure so big there?
No, I don't think so. These boats are, you need to depower them probably from really early, probably 7-8 knots. You start depowering them.
Yeah. And here we see the tactics. Cuba going in front of Guatemala, and Mexico needs to tack behind Guatemala, and Oman sailing their own race. So, Rekela, what are we seeing out there? Because you can see this battle better than we can see.
Well, what I see is that the wind is not particularly strong, but we are about 8 knots. And it is quite consistent in pressure, but I would also say it's quite even on the race course. So what I think it played out, it was the start for this first leg. So Mexico had a very gentleman start. They could have pushed it a little more. I thought they played it safe because they were very close to Oman, but maybe they could have squeezed in between Oman and committee boat before actually taking some extra room for security, for safety. So what I see here, now that we're getting closer to the top mark, is that like we saw also from the start, it's a bit more pressures up, going up north on the lake. And so we're going to see probably an increase in speed. Actually, Team Oman is covering us from seeing Team Cuba, who's the leader. And then we have in like towards the west coast, we have Mexico behind Guatemala. So now Team Oman is tacking, and it's probably a being reunited with the rest of the fleet more in the center of the course. But from what I see, from my point of view, they're not in a good position, Team Oman, I don't think. So for sure, there is a big margin. Team Cuba has a big margin over the rest, and they're gonna get to the ley line a lot sooner, a lot earlier than everybody else.
Yeah,
This is what I see.
Yeah, thank you, Rekela.
But they're not on ley line yet.
Yeah, but thank you, Rekela. Interesting call out there. Oman, they're trying to join the rest of the fleet right now to come up, but they're in last position. Mexico, they're a little bit in trouble. They get caught by Guatemala. And as Rekela said, hey, they're a little bit defensive in this race. And Cuba, they must just be happy. They are approaching the top mark first, where there's more wind than there is where they're coming from. So the rich is getting richer now.
Yeah, right. Cuba is on a really strong position. Let's see how they position themselves in the downwind.
So with this knowledge we have, with the wind in the middle, will they jibe straight away, or will they continue to the left-hand side when they're rounding the offset mark? We will see that view. Cuba, they are winning momentum. As said, there's stronger wind at the top mark, so the rich is getting richer. Guatemala might also speed up on Mexico, and then it's all about how far away will Oman be on Mexico. This is the last race of today. It's race number 4, and tomorrow's Golden Day. We'll have 2 races counting double points, but Oman will be in trouble if they're not coming back in this race. But it looks good for Cuba at the moment.
Yeah, it looks good for Cuba, but as I told you, in the downwind, the guys behind can be quite aggressive and can actually cover the wind. So we'll see what happens. I don't see Cuba jiving right away. I think they're gonna keep going straight up for a while and see what the others do.
But let's see what they're doing. They first rounded the top mark, and now they're going to the offset mark while we're seeing the other teams coming in. But we have quite an interesting battle here. Guatemala coming in, Team Mexico coming in. It's all about those 3 boat lengths. Guatemala might be caught in that one. They're not inside the mark rounding zone, and they haven't tagged yet. So Mexico might have to right away. So they need to make room for Team Mexico, giving Team Mexico the chance to come back in this race side by side. So there we have Team Guatemala rounding the top mark, and then Team Mexico straight away. Oh, they're going on the outside of them instead of. Interesting call, or should they put themselves on the inside? What would you have been doing now, Diego?
No, I think they did the right call. It was quite an aggressive move going in the inside. And yeah, no, I think they did the right thing.
But having the inside side by side with Guatemala coming to the offset mark, they could actually push them out. Now I'm coming more for the virtual world, where we are a little bit more aggressive. Here we see Team Oman coming in, rounding that mark, nice and slow. Actually, a big turn they're doing there. So they have a chance to come back in and downwind. And as you said, Cuba is going to the left-hand side, keeping the course, waiting for see what the rest of the team's doing. Spinning a launch. Oh, it's a slow one here. Oh, it's a very slow one from Guatemala. But it's up. The kite is up. It's going well for them. And now Team Mexico coming in. There. Kite coming up. The jib is still up. It looks good. Looks like they're doing it. A clean one. A great one. So no big changes in between these three boats. But it looks very well for Team Cuba. And but right now I can say Team Cuba is speeding up and the other boats are losing momentum. So there might be more wind in Team Cuba's side, and this is good news for them. Oman coming in, and this time there's much more distance in between the boats. Fantastic upwind leg for Team Cuba.
Yeah, fantastic one. They were spot on the starting line and spot on their tactics. So it's well deserved for them to be up there.
Or are they also a little bit not lucky, but the favorite, because Guatemala and Mexico has this tag battle in the middle? Was that maybe helping them getting a little bit more distance?
Right. Yeah, and this I can bet this will continue the rest of the race. I can see Mexico and Guatemala still fighting until the end, and this might have a positive impact in the result for Cuba.
Cuba in the lead, but one thing, when I see the numbers up in the top side, then Manso Lopez, the captain, he needs to do something because he's losing. I know it's only 1 meter at a time to the other teams, and he has 250 and give up, but he is in a lower wind pressure than rest of the fleet that is coming. So will he jibe, or does he dare going all the way to the left-hand side? You can almost see here on the kite that the wind pressure is not that big.
Yeah, it is not that big. The other thing that is interesting here is that Mexico is having a lower mode, so they are going more on the direction of the wind than Guatemala. But let's see how this pays off for both teams.
And here we saw the team jumping from one side to another side. So what's that about? Is it because they need to do a jibe, or is it to pressure the boat a little bit?
They were trying to level the boat, so it was probably a little bit tilted to one side.
Trying to level it, and if you're new to sailing, she's not sleeping there in the front. No, she's putting weight into the front to pressure the boat a little bit to sail faster. So they are really trying to capture the wind here on Team Guatemala. But until now, Cuba lost 40 meters. So do they have the nerves continue to the left-hand side, or will they jibe in towards the middle? The other boats are coming with speed, but it looks like Guatemala is really doing a great job. Mexico is not speeding up. It's Guatemala that somehow found wind, or is much better in trimming their sails and capturing that wind into it.
And here we had a jibe from Team Oman. They are looking for the middle of the race course. So let's see what they have on the middle.
Yeah. Like in other sports, yes, you are in the lead, but when you are in the lead and don't focus on all the parameters around you, you can lose momentum. Cuba right now lost 50 meters to the followers from Guatemala. Mexico is not winning, they're losing momentum to Guatemala, and Oman taking a chance, going to the right-hand side right now, or more in towards the middle. So they need either to do 1 or 2 more jibes, where Cuba taking a chance, only doing 1 jibe towards that gate mark they're coming into. Interesting call. And when we're looking at this, if Oman is capturing wind over there, they're actually in the favorites.
Yeah, right. And what I think Mexico is gonna do next is they're gonna try to jibe before the other two teams to have the upper hand on trying to just covering them. I think they're just just jibe.
Oh, there we have the jibe from Cuba coming in there, and he's really pulling here the boom here and really jibing in, and it looks like a clean jibe, and you can see every time they jibe they lose around 15 meters. Guatemala won 15 meters on them in this downwind jibe, so it's all about how good is Guatemala doing it. But Guatemala jibed just at the same time as Cuba, and Mexico did it a little bit earlier. So now Cuba is trying to covering up instead of sailing their own race.
Yeah, no, yeah. The only ones that can cover them is actually Mexico right now, but they have quite a distance between them. I don't see that they're trying to covering them.
No, they just need to keep them behind them, but right now it looks very good for Team Guatemala. 8.2 knots, Team Cuba 7 knots, Team Mexico 8.1 knots, and Team Oman 7 knots. So Cuba at the ley line with less wind pressure or less speed and wind pressure also than Team Guatemala and Mexico. So there's a little bit more wind at the two other competitors that's coming in from behind. So will they lose their momentum? Will they lose the distance they build up in the upwind leg? Or will they keep their distance in the lead? This is very interesting what's going to happen, because it's like a minefield out there. Rakela, I need to ask you one thing. What's happening? You said there was a huge wind pressure at the top mark, and at the gate mark the wind is disappearing. Is that still the case?
Yes, not really disappearing, but certainly is lighter. And this is what happened with Team Cuba, because the other two were coming from behind, so they still had good wind, while Cuba was already in the lighter air area. So this is what happened. And then Team Mexico was sailing slightly lower than Guatemala, so that's why they were going slower. This is because their bow position was lower, rather than Guatemala was sailing more with the wind, while Mexico was going more towards the good direction. So it's a VMG thing. Another word that, a term that the non-sailing passionate should learn. Yeah. So it's the compromise between going fast with a good wind and going into the right direction. So closer to the perfect course you would go to. Yeah. So what we're seeing now is that Oman is definitely out of this game for this leg. But I think the three leading are actually not far from one another.
Yeah, and now
everything can still happen in the next two legs.
Yeah, and Rakela, thank you for all this messages out there, because now we are coming to the gate mark where we're going to round here. The spinnaker, the kite goes down, but we just saw Cuba doing something really great. They went outside of the ley line, the optimal angle towards the mark, and put a bigger angle on, speeding up to almost 9 knots of wind speed with a bigger angle, and then doing this fantastic gate mark rounding and capturing speed. You will see next team coming in. That's Guatemala coming in here. Kites down, spinning it down. Oh, it's in the water, but they catch it up pretty fast. But see how slow they are. They need to turn with a slower speed, where Cuba, you can almost see how fast they're sailing.
Yeah, no, Cuba did it a really good job. It was a really clean maneuver, and but yeah.
And Mexico coming in, spinning her in. It's in the water, but they pulls it in. But again, they did a double jibe to round that mark, so also losing momentum. So I have to say, hats off for Cuba. They had a great upwind leg, the first upwind leg, but what a fantastic gate mark rounding. They just pull up the hat here. And then Oman, they need to fight for it. But Mexico coming in, it's going to be a match race between them and Guatemala for that second and third place. And now Oman, can you see the angle on that mark?
Yeah.
Oh, they might lose momentum here. They mistimed it a little bit, and now they need to turn it again.
Yeah, they were super close. They had to do an aggressive maneuver there, and you can see how they lost all their speed.
Yeah, they lost their speed, and they need to build it up again. And these big boats, yeah, we are saying, hey, they're sailing fast with lower wind speed. Yeah, but it takes time to speed up. It takes 12 to 20 seconds to gain speed when you lost it. And you can see it here on the meters, how Cuba actually did a great mark rounding. And Oman, they lost a little bit momentum again.
Yeah, they haven't caught they haven't got the opportunity to gain their momentum. Now Cuba tacking double tacking actually to cover the fleet.
So the reason why they double tag is that because they feel threatened right now?
Yeah, this is the first time I see Cuba being aggressive. Basically, what they did was putting themselves between their opponent and their mark. So this is actually quite a strong maneuver, I'll say.
So there are different ways of defending your position in sailing. Either be in the lead and throw some dirty air behind, or make sure you're in between your opponents and the top mark. So why is that important to be in that position? If you have to explain somebody that don't know anything about sailing?
So in the position that Cuba wanted and they actually got, putting themselves between the mark and their opponents, doesn't matter where the wind shift, they will always stay ahead. So that is the important thing. Now, being too aggressive like they've been now, and having Mexico or making Mexico tacking, it's not a great thing because now you have two boats on the right side of the course and just one on the left.
So what we're seeing now that you can't see out there before we go into the 3D view, here we see Team Guatemala, and you can see how they look over the shoulder. It's because Team Cuba is just side by side with them, only 60 meters away. But what happened was that Mexico, they sneaked away. They made a pressure attack towards the middle, going to the right-hand side, and they are winning momentum on the two battling giants, Cuba and Guatemala. So this is actually giving Mexico free air and free time to do their own race. So Mexico here, you can almost see no boats around them. They can do whatever they want. So now they just need the wind.
Yeah, this is the first time Cuba, as I told you, gets aggressive with the other boats. And let's see if they have the strength to maintain a battle with other boats.
Yeah, Erik Bachmann, two-time world champion and a national champion. He's here, the tacticians, and you can almost hear what he's saying. Hey, do this, you need to look at this. And now they're doing a next attack. They're trying to follow the other ones, but it's like they're following the wind patterns in the middle of the race course. And while they're doing that, Cuba and Guatemala is still battling it out there. See, Mexico winning 30 meters already. They're coming with speed. They're taking the lead, almost going in to take the lead. But let's see what happens. Where Oman, they're trying, you can see in the graphics here, they're trying to find some wind, trying to find some momentum. But they can just hope that Cuba and Guatemala on the left-hand side continue battling it out, and Mexico joins that battle, because then they are back in the race.
Right, and you could see Mexico tacked on top of Team Oman, and Team Oman had to tack away. So they were pushed again to the right side of the course.
So Mexico pressuring Team Oman. So Oman needs to go more to the right-hand side. That's bad news for them. And here we see the overall leaders right now in this race, Team Cuba. And with 4 points, will put them in a very good position. With Guatemala in second, then Cuba will actually be second place overall before the Golden Day tomorrow. So this is a very important call for them. But they need to take care they're not going too much into the battle, because Mexico is just breathing behind them in the neck, even if they're attacking once again towards the right-hand side. Guatemala, the Guatemalan Jaguar is really fighting it out. And Juan, he's just keeping an eye on Cuba. So what will you do here if you're one of those teams? What are you looking for?
So I thought Cuba was waiting for Guatemala to tack on top of them, but I could actually see before this graphic that they were actually preparing their attack. What I would do if I was in their position was actually waiting for Guatemala, but yeah, they decided otherwise.
Maybe they decided otherwise, because this team we are looking here, Team Mexico, they're coming in with speed. They're going to the right-hand side. And some data here from our tower, we have access to it. Mexico, 7.2 knots. Guatemala, 8.4 knots. Team Cuba, 7.8. And Oman, 7.0 knots of wind speed right now. So Guatemala is sailing faster, but they're losing momentum to the leader. So maybe their, let's say it as it is, maybe their angle is wrong on how they're sailing up towards the mark.
No, I don't think it's wrong. They probably were in a puff. They probably had a little bit more of wind at the moment, but their course seems to be the correct one.
The course seems to be the correct one. The fleet is splitted out, two boats following each other, Cuba and Guatemala, Mexico in the middle, Oman on the right-hand side. And when we're looking at these boats here, yeah, it looks like, hey, this race is over. But Mexico is in second now. They have the right of way. If they continue this path and have the wind with them going to the top mark, they will go in front of Cuba and Guatemala and take the lead. So it's quite interesting. We are right now in a decisive moment where if Mexico continue having wind, then they can win the game.
Yeah, let's see how it plays. But as we saw in the last downwind, Cuba wasn't the fast one. They were losing meters every couple seconds. So they need to be really strong on the upwinds, because downwind is coming, and then it's a whole new story for them.
Yeah, but Mexico winning momentum 5 meters at a time. They are speeding up. They're going to the right-hand side. And if they continue doing this, then the prophecy might happen. They tack towards the top mark, have the right of way. Guatemala and Cuba needs to go, but behind them, they need to bear away. So will Mexico take another victory? Interesting what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the last shift of this race. I know they are quite close, but that shift, it's gonna call who's gonna end up being first at the top.
And there it happens. Mexico in the lead, capturing 234 meters in this upwind leg. Amazing job of them going towards the middle, going away from the battle, sailing their own race. And you can almost imagine when they're coming to the ley line on the right-hand side, tagging to the left, Cuba and Guatemala needs to bear away and go behind them if there's wind when they're crossing in.
Right, and just keep in mind that they are gonna lose some meters when they tack. So yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. I can say to you, Jaco is sitting here in studio and say, whoa, he's smiling and saying, whoa, great job, guys. But he's also at the same time very diplomatic, because he won't sail the bear before it's shot. And I have to say, he's really coming in here. But Mexico winning meters and meters. It's like Cuba and Guatemala is caught in light wind. Even Oman is winning momentum at the moment. What's happening? Left-hand side, wind disappeared. Right-hand side, a lot of wind. But now Mexico and Oman is going to the left-hand side. So will they lose their momentum?
Yeah, and I think Mexico is trying to be really conservative. They weren't still in the ley line, but they are attacking. They are trying to capitalize their gains on the fleet. So yeah, that is why they attack, and we'll see who is gonna be first.
A lot of talking on the boat. The captain is very focused. He's at the helm. The tactician is looking out there. And you can almost see, oh, they're keeping an eye on Cuba. They're keeping an eye on Guatemala. And now they're losing momentum to Cuba. So Cuba might survive this one. This is how it's going to be. It's who has to win. Is it Mexico or Cuba? And if they're hitting each other at the same time, Cuba needs to bear away. But if Cuba just speeds up, I have to say 0.2 knots more than Mexico, they will survive and go into the lead. But no matter what, Mexico will go in second.
Now, in this round mark, it's gonna be really important. If for some reason there's a struggle between Cuba, Guatemala, and Mexico on the top, I can see Oman getting in the mix again, and yeah, it's gonna be really interesting.
So a race that we decided was all over when they rounded that gate mark is all open again. It's the taking for all teams. Oman, they need to hope that the other teams are battling it out. And then they will be back in the race. They will come from behind with the spinnaker. They will have the wind pressure first. But Mexico, Cuba, Guatemala, what a battle coming in. And one thing I have to say, looking at Mexico, they did attack again because they could see we are losing momentum. But every time they do attack, they also lose momentum.
Yeah, you can see from the picture that there are some patches
places in that lake on the Cuba and Guatemala side, and that is why I think they attack before getting into them.
Yeah, and Raquela, we need to know one thing. How's the wind situation? Is it best where Cuba and Guatemala is, or is Mexico having it?
So I have to say it's not the same situation as it was. So the top mark is not windier than the bottom mark at the moment. So it's quite the same, I would say. But what I've seen is Team Mexico, maneuvering a lot better. I mean, they were actually into the game. They were hiking with all the weight they had on the boat. And the tactician didn't stop 1 second looking around. So what they did was a big team effort, and they wanted to defend the right-hand side of the course to arrive to this ley line on the right side. So, I mean, I'm seeing them. We're going to see a cross soon here on the race course.
We have to cross here. It's already coming in. Mexico getting close to Cuba. Cuba going in front of Mexico. And it looks like they will tag in front of it, but a little bit too early, I think. Mexico still has to ride away here. Oh, they are putting up a protest flag. Maybe that's green. That means it was clear.
Clear, no penalty.
Yeah, but we have this pink border there. What does that mean, Diego?
So this means that there was a shift in the course. The wind shifted to either left or right side. So they had to make this small adjustment to the course, and this is why now it's we see a pink mark.
Oh, see how they're attacking Mexico, Cuba, Guatemala coming in. 3 boats at the same time at the Charlie Plus mark. This is going to be exciting. Right now, Cuba is on the inside. They have to ride away. Mexico caught in a sandwich. Guatemala needs to take the big turn. There's no wind pressure. If they lose the momentum, it can be game over. Then they can lose it all downwind. 3 boats on one side. Oh, who will take it? Oh, Guatemala, that's a close call. Mexico coming in. Cuba, they survives it. But Guatemala could almost call a protest there.
Almost, but yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that. We'll see. But this was exactly what I was telling you. They've been struggling to get to the top mark. There's been a lot of tacking, and Oman is gaining on all of them. So they were pretty much behind. But yeah.
Yeah, and now Cuba survives it. They're still in the lead. They have one hard challenge now, downwind leg. That has not been their best performance. Mexico rounding the mark, spinning her up. Oh, see how they're really turning while it's coming up. Will they do a jump straight away? And just behind them, Team Guatemala. And this is decisive. Good spinnaker hoist of Mexico. Guatemala also getting it up. And then Oman coming back in the race. Let's see what happens there. But it's the 3 boats in the lead fighting for it. 10 seconds in between each of them. Cuba is not sure of winning this race.
Yeah, no, and I think Cuba just, I don't know, I thought they jagged, but no.
Oof. Can you see the sails? Can you see the Cuban sail? Oh, here you can almost see it also. The middle sail, Mexico, it's blaffing. They're losing wind, they're losing momentum. The wind pattern out there is disappearing, or they're throwing wind shadow on each other. So, will they lose the momentum? Will they lose the wind? And will Oman be back in the race?
No, I would say that the strongest boats out there in the downwind are both Guatemala and Mexico, so we're in for a big fight in here.
A fight between the strongest boat downwind. Oman, they can sail free, they can take a chance. It's win or lose for Oman right now. They need to do a decision. And Cuba, they need to stay in the lead. So what will Mexico and Guatemala do?
Yeah, if I don't know what Oman is waiting for a jibe, but at this point they need to get away from the rest of the fleet and just look for new wind elsewhere. Yeah. Let's see how much time it takes for them to jibe.
Now when the boats are so close to each other, Diego, if Cuba jibes before the other boats, will they be in trouble then?
No, I don't think they will be in trouble. What I will actually do is jibe before them, because if one of the other boats jibe before them, then they have the upper hand and they can wind shadow them much easier.
So it's all about what Cuba is going to do. It's all about how they will go in and take this one. And I can say to you here in studio, I know the wind is disappearing, but see how close the boats are. We are sitting all the way on the tables and getting dirty and sweaty here because this is not over yet. Cuba can lose it. Guatemala and Mexico is fighting for it. Who dares to jibe first? And Jaco, who's your money on right now?
No, of course, Team Mexico.
And in the studio, the hosts are never fighting for their own team, but it's okay. It's a very close one. I actually think Guatemala might have a chance if they're jibing a little bit earlier than the rest of them. So it's all about when do Juan takes the chance and jibe.
No, actually, right now I think the strongest position is obviously the Cuba one, but the other one I think it's the Guatemala because I don't think Mexico has enough space for jibing, so they are trapped in there for now. Let's see if they have the speed required to have enough space for a jibing.
And we are just looking at the data as Mexico is the fastest boat of the three. Cuba 7.2, Mexico 7.4, Guatemala speeding up now 8.4 knots. So there's coming a little bit of wind pressure behind. And there we see Oman doing what we talked about, doing a jibe, taking the chance, going opposite, splitting away, see what they can do. So how will the other boats react on this one?
Yeah, we'll see. It took a while for Oman to jibe away, but I think it's the correct answer for their position at the moment.
It's the correct answer, and Mexico getting closer and closer to Cuba. Guatemala losing a little bit momentum. So, who has the nerves to go all the way to the right-hand side? Will Cuba do the same maneuvering as last time, going outside of the ley line? To a bigger angle towards a better angle towards the mark, and then speed up and then just round it. Interesting what's coming up, but it looks like the wind disappeared. Michaela, where's the wind going? Oman going to the right hand side and the other one's in the left. Something is happening.
Well, what's happening is that there's not much wind where we are at the moment on the race course. I see a little bit more going down towards the finish line. So whoever hits that area first is going to have a little boost in speed. I think Oman is, like we said earlier, is flipping a coin and trying to see what's out there on the left-hand side of the course. But probably the good pressure is still on the right-hand side where the other three boats are. But like I said, we're hitting now a little more pressure, an area with a little more pressure. But we're talking very little pressure. There's not much air at the moment. So it's going to be nerve-wracking on the boat. I think it's stressful for the tactician at the moment. And, well, the three boats are very close to one another out here.
Thank you.
And Guatemala didn't... Yes, go ahead. Guatemala didn't make that advantage.
Yeah. But Raquel, thank you for that. And now we see Mexico doing the jibe as the first ones. Will Cuba follow them? Oh, Guatemala following them straight away. And you can almost see on the boats, as Raquel said, there's no wind.
Yeah, there's no wind, and it was a little bit of a slow jibe for the Mexican team. I couldn't see the Guatemalan one, but you can see the difference between them. I think they got closer because of the slow jibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I told you before, if they jibe before, now they have the upper hand on the Cubans. They can jibe again and you just cover the wind.
But it looks like Cuba doesn't care. They're doing the same trick as before. They're going way outside of the ley line, putting a bigger angle into the sail to try to capture some wind. You can see it here on the graphics. Then they're jibing and changing the angle a little bit bigger, giving them a little bit more speed than the others in these light wind conditions. So now the dog race comes. Who will win? Who will cross the finish line first? Cuba, Mexico, or Guatemala? And at the same time we see Oman crossing in towards the middle. You can almost feel how they're laying there. Actually, some of them are using their mouth and blowing wind into the sail. Come on, come on, we want to have it. So So you know how it is in this situation. So what's going through your mind when you are in these light wind conditions and you just race for it?
Yeah, the last thing Mexican team needs right now it's a wind shadow from the Guatemalans, and that is exactly what the Guatemalans are looking for. They are in a higher mode. They have more speed than the Mexican team. But Mexico probably it's correcting their angles so to match their speed with the Guatemalan, and this can be a huge advantage for the Cubans as they are free to sail.
Yeah, and now when we are looking at that, after that fantastic analytics from your side, Jaco, Cuba 8.6 knots of speed, Mexico 8.2 knots of speed, Guatemala 8.4 knots of speed, meaning that Cuba is doing the same trick as the first race of today, going outside of the ley line, putting a bigger angle into the sails, is not much bigger, and then speeding towards the finish line. But there's still quite some race to take, 730 meters to that finish line. Mexico, Guatemala is battling out against each other, and if they're battling too much, Cuba can take the victory. But what's happening to Oman? We can see Oman, they're coming from behind. They jibe to the side where the other boats are, but they're far behind them. So I have to say this time I am ready to call Oman out of this race. They will end up in fourth, but who will take first, second and third?
Yeah, now that the Oman team has returned to the side that the rest of the teams are in, I think, yeah, they are finishing fourth for sure. I don't know why they didn't look for more wind on the other side, but yeah.
500 meters. What's happening right now when we are looking in the overview? Here we have Eduardo Utling, 2 times national champion from Team Mexico. Mexico, Guatemala, in that battle of taking more wind, they changed the angle of the boat and they need to do an extra jibe for coming towards the finish line. Cuba, they also doing too big an angle and almost going outside of the reach of the finish line also. So it looks like the dairy tactics all three are doing, they need to do an extra jibe to cross that finish line, and that can be very costly. We saw Peru versus Chile in one of the other qualifications where they had this jibe battle, as we're seeing here, Guatemala jibing down, and then Peru was doing, Chile was doing a mistake, giving the victory for Peru. So it's the battle of the jibes. Who's best of doing this?
So yeah, we can see Guatemala jiving. This could be good news for Mexico if, yeah, these are good news for Mexico, but because now they are free to jive again and to try to cover or do something about Cuba. I know they are 70 meters away from them, but still there's an opportunity there.
There's a huge opportunity. Cuba losing momentum, 7.6 knots of speed. Mexico 8.2, Guatemala 8.1. But here we see Cuba approaching the finish line, and the other boats are just breathing them in the neck. But it looks like Cuba might go. Oh, they're doing a jibe. Interesting call. Doing a jibe just before the finish line, losing momentum. But they are clear. They are clear of the other boats. Race number 4 in the SSL Gold Cup qualifying series is going to Team Cuba. Team Mexico coming in second. And here we can see how close it is. Team Guatemala taking third. And this couldn't be better for Mexico and Cuba. See how happy they are, all of them. So a great battle. So Guatemala just saved themselves on the finish line, getting third. And luckily for them, they didn't get fourth. But tomorrow on Golden Day, all the teams can take the victory now. The only team under pressure is Team Oman we're seeing coming in here. They need to pull the rabbit up of the hat and do 2 great races tomorrow.
Yeah, they are probably having a big debrief after this race, and yeah, just regroup and yeah, let's see what they have tomorrow.
just regroup. You can see they're still focused on doing it the right way. It's all about making sure you know this boat and feel the patterns, but you can also see a little bit disappointment in their eyes there, because they actually had a very good start, a very good first upwind leg, but then something happened in this fantastic race. But 5 seconds in between the leader and second, and 16 seconds to third place just show how close and how big skilled this group is. And there we have Team Oman coming in fourth position. So overall score is giving Cuba 4 points in this race, Mexico 3 points, Guatemala 2 points, Oman 1 point. And they must be very pleased and happy about that. So let's see, it's the scoreboard coming in here. They're just producing it for us, and there we can see the boats coming towards the finish line. They're really doing it there. Cuba 4 points, Mexico 3 points, Guatemala 2 points, Oman 1 point. So Mexico, Cuba, they couldn't have a better day. Both teams 7 points.
Yeah.
So is that giving a lot to those two teams that you're sitting here and commentating them? No, it's a good race. This just opened up the group, and if we see the overall result that's coming in here in a few seconds there, Guatemala 12 points, Cuba 11 points, Mexico 10 points, Oman 6 points. Tomorrow it's Golden Day. Race 5, race 6 will be raced there, and if it's a light wind, then we only have race 5. So it's all about the mathematics. With that said, let's see the replay of this fantastic race we just had. Wow. Fantastic races we had today. We had to wait for it, but we're waiting for all the excitement. And with all that said, Diego, let's see if we can go on water and hear how the winning team, we are not ready, we're getting ready to have an interview with the winning team of Team Cuba. They had quite a race today. So what's the difference from Cuba? I had to say a second place and a victory today. They couldn't play it better, could they?
Yeah, no, it was great for them. And it was actually the first time that I've seen them getting aggressive. So it was another phase that Cuba hadn't shown. So yeah, it was great for them today.
It was great for them today and playing a more aggressive. So seeing Cuba being more and more aggressive against these teams, now we can see they're coming in here. Is that because they need to learn the boat? Because you guys have only been practicing 12 days on these boats. All teams has the same amount of practice. And then suddenly you get acquainted with the boat and now you're ready to fight.
Yeah. That is a great point, Thomas. And it's probably that. Yeah, they're ready to fight. And first and a second, I think there's no other way to interpret that one.
Yeah, and then with that said, let's go to the Pirates of Caribbean. Let's go to Team Cuba and our on-water journalist.
So yes, I'm here with Pedro Vega. And well, Pedro, what a race. So you were dominating from the start to the finish, even though the two teams behind put a lot of pressure on you. Did you feel the pressure?
Yeah, it's we feel the pressure all the time, even if they are a little more back. But it was an amazing race. Not very far from the beginning. We were tight since the start. We were like we had yesterday as an object. We were trying to take care of the fleet all the time and to keep the speed on the boat and to make the less mistake as possible.
You were quite fast. You were often faster than the rest of the fleet, and you chose the left-hand side going up and right-hand side going down very strongly. So what did you see out there?
Well, we were keeping looking at the clouds. You know, this lake depends of the wind of the. Where we were looking for more pressure, and thank God we find it. We were with that speed because we got pressure, and so we're keeping sailing with the pressure, and that's what happened.
It paid off. Thank you, Pedro. Thank you very much. Back to you guys in studio.
So very, very happy team, very pleased team. But a good observation by Rikela out there. They stuck to the left, they stuck to the right, they didn't do any big magic tricks. Is that the tactics we are going to see also tomorrow in these light wind conditions? Or was that more, as you say, a coin toss?
More than a coin, I think they are just trying to keep away from the rest of the fleet and just focusing on the race.
But with this race, Guatemala 12 points, still in the lead. Cuba 11 points in second position. Mexico 10 points in third. Oman in fourth with 6 points. This means in Golden Day tomorrow, there's 8 points for the winner, 6 points for second, 4 points for third, and 2 points for the last position. Means if we have one race, both Guatemala, Cuba, and Mexico can be first and second. But if we have 2 races, everybody can have it. So everything is up for the grabbings tomorrow and the taking, and they're all fighting for one big thing, going all the way to the finals in Bahrain.
Minus 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
We just have goosebumps seeing that video for going all the way to Bahrain. That's what they're fighting for. But let's see what's coming up tomorrow at the Golden Day. The race schedule for tomorrow is planned that we are going to see Cuba, of course, Guatemala, Mexico, and Oman fighting it. It's race 5 and 6. And the big question is when it's set to start. It's set to start 10:30 local time, 9:30 UTC. So that's late night back home in Mexico.
Yeah, everyone is going to be asleep. I mean, other than probably our families, the rest of Mexico is going to be sleeping.
But don't worry, if you are following us, then please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch even. There you can re-see all the things and follow all the race results. So please go in and follow us if you like what you're seeing. This is the SSL Gold Cup, the World Cup of Sailing. And then we only have one thing to do today, Diego. Thank you for joining in here and commentating us in these 2 cool races.
No, thanks for the invite, Thomas. I mean, it was great to be here. The race, this is a whole new perspective for me, and it was amazing.
Yeah, and with that said, thank you for all of you watching us. I hope you enjoy what we're doing here. This is the SSL Gold Cup, the Football World Cup, but in sailing. And this is a concept that's come to stay. Tomorrow we will find which 2 teams will qualify to the finals in Bahrain. With that said, enjoy the pictures of today's racing.
engine start. We